Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. I am Austin Eldridge in for Wolo today, who is enjoying a day off today as the Tigers are off this weekend. Drew Barrett in the house as well. He has returned. He was out last week, headed down to Mobile, where the Tigers got a nice win over South Alabama last weekend. He is back today producing the program. We'll be joined momentarily by Brett Norsworthy, who is once again down in Oxford, Mississippi, or as I like to call it, football heaven, as Ole Miss is getting ready to take on the 23rd ranked California Golden Bears. And we have a great show coming up for you today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up at 3:30, we'll be talking with Bruce Marshall on some odds for college football, a little NFL as well. We'll be talking a little bit with John David Baddour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. He'll join us at about 3:50 or so catch that as well at the end of the hour. Peter Edmiston will be coming up at the top of the second hour to talk about some NBA. A lot of NBA news coming out today, so looking forward to catching up with him on that. Glenn Rogers, as always, in for high school football around 4:30. We'll catch up with him. And then Mike Detillier from New Orleans coming up at 5 o'clock, and he knows his stuff. I cannot wait to talk to Mike. I haven't talked to him in a little while, and he is absolutely fantastic. If you haven't ever heard Mike before, be sure that you are listening around 5 o'clock because he knows his stuff when it comes to the Saints, when it comes to Tulane, etc. So be sure you're tuning in from there. But as I mentioned, Brett Norsworthy down in Oxford, Mississippi, the Rebels getting ready to face the nationally ranked California Golden Bears. It'll be the first time in history, if I'm not mistaken, that a Pac-12 team has played in Oxford. Brett, once again, thank you so much for letting me be part of the show today. How are you, good sir?
I'm great, Austin. Thank you for being with us, and it's a fun Friday. Fridays are, as you can tell, they kind of have a life of their own during college football season. At 5:30, we'll do our football forecast picks from First National Bank and Trust, and we'll wrap it up with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But you're right about the Cal Bears. I think unlikely undefeated and maybe unlikelier being ranked in the top 25 at 23, according to the Associated Press, with the big upset win 2 weeks ago, the Saturday night that Ole Miss was playing and defeating Arkansas. They had the 24-hour of Le Mans game against Washington in Seattle, but they pulled it out. And there are a lot of Cal fans already in Oxford, and one asked me, said, "Is it always this hot and humid?" I said, "Let me tell you something.
You have no idea.
This is the best day we've had in about the last 30. I said, if you had been here last Saturday, you would have really been hurting. But Cal comes in and a lot more defensive oriented than kind of the stereotype of the Cal Bears, really historically, with all the great quarterback play and quarterback names, some that translated to the NFL, some that didn't, that were just really good college players. But Justin Wilcox has really put a defensive label on them. I'm thinking it's going to be a low-scoring affair, Austin, and if my research is correct, and I think it is, I tried to find a game the last time Ole Miss won a game in the teens, where they score in the teens but win. And I go back to 2008 when they won 17-7 over Auburn. That was Houston Nutt's first year at Ole Miss and Tommy Tuberville's last year at Auburn. And that was really a pretty good game and really closer than that 10-point spread. But 17-7 that day. Before that, you got to go back even further. But Richard Cross asked me to do this, and I just didn't have time to really do the research on it. It was kind of loose. The last time Ole Miss defeated a ranked non-conference opponent in Oxford. Not in Jackson, not on the road, in Oxford. Of course, in 1977, beat Notre Dame, but that was in Jackson.
Right.
And I wouldn't bet the mortgage on this because it was loose research done late last night after that Cardinal Cub affair that really touched about the last nerve I had last night.
Mine too.
And the Cubs have rebounded pretty well today. I mean, I thought that might be a game that breaks the back. But anyway, the research I did on that, and it's not a great day in Ole Miss history. They did win that day, but I go back to Houston, the Houston Cougars, 1970, I think November 7th, 1970, in Oxford. And Ole Miss won that day, but that day was made famous for something else. That was the day Archie broke his arm, and but that's the only one I can find a non-conference ranked opponent in Oxford. And I'm going to study it a little more tonight and try to have it nailed down a little bit before we come on the air tomorrow. We come on bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with pregame from the Grove and then 11 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing a lot of people down for that. Really one of the bigger news stories today after that Cardinal Cub game last night is finally released the Tiger 2019-2020 basketball schedule. And who knows where this ends up. But along the way, if I just had to do, Drew, as we like to do it, talk about it during the summertime in lightly shaded pencil for college football, if I had to do today's Tiger basketball schedule, W's and L's, I'm not doing it today, but in lightly shaded pencil, guys, I can't find more than about 3 or 4 losses, and that's really stretching it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just the sheer talent that they have, I mean, you would think they could win some of these games. Just even a poor performance with the talent that they have would be a win. Certainly some big games on that schedule that could be against ranked teams. We don't know for sure yet. Could be against ranked teams, maybe not. Obviously, Tennessee is one that I'm sure the Tiger fans have marked down pretty well on the calendar already. But certainly the amount of talent that this Memphis team has would lead you to believe they're not going to lose that many games. Now, of course, we haven't seen them play together yet. They could struggle a little bit. Maybe the chemistry doesn't flow as much right off the bat. But if they are clicking, and Greg mentioned this on the midday show today, if they are clicking early, then they could be a very, very difficult out in the regular season as well as the NCAA tournament when that time comes.
I mean, non-conference, if they're clicking at all, maybe the road loss at Tennessee, maybe.
Maybe. And that depends. I mean, Tennessee lost pretty much everyone that got them that far. And other than that, we don't know what Oregon's going to look like yet. I mean, Ole Miss, we saw that they were much improved last year under Kermit Davis.
Pretty good.
And that could be, I don't think that's going to be a blowout, but I don't think it's necessarily likely that Ole Miss comes into Memphis and wins that game.
Again,
so
in lightly shaded pencil, I mean, that's a W, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that's a W for Memphis. I mean,
and
NC
Ole Miss
State
could be ranked by that time. They
could be.
They could be 24, 25 or so.
Certainly could. I mean, Ole Miss again. They were in the NCAA tournament last year. They have Bree and Tyree coming back. They certainly have talent, and Kermit Davis. Obviously, we know what he can do. So there is certainly a chance that Ole Miss could have a rank by then. NC State, typically a decent team. I don't see that being a loss, even though it's on a neutral site for the Tigers. And then again, the Tennessee game. And other than that, I mean, Georgia coming in with Tom Crane, I don't see that being a loss right now. I mean, it's hard to find a loss, Brett.
It is. The first one that really kind of jumps off the page at us, and we would love to have your thoughts on the Tiger basketball schedule release at 360-8255 at our First Bank phone line or at 67129 at our First Bank text line. The first thing that just kind of really grabbed me, and by that point, undefeated and the national accolades really rolling in, is that first AAC roadie to Wichita State and the respect that we all have for Greg Marshall and how Wichita State got better, really game over game from about the 1st of February last year. I thought that was a pretty good team that was in the AAC and then went on to the NIT, and everybody kind of understood that last year was kind of an operational pause for Greg Marshall to get back rolling with really good teams. Because, look, Fred Van Vliet and Ron Baker.
The 10-year senior.
They only had 17 years of college eligibility.
Yeah.
It had to end at some point for them. And so Greg Marshall had to improvise after that point. So he's got a new cast and very much has his identity on his teams. That one jumps out. Nothing at home does really all year, non-our conference.
Yeah, I mean, they open conference play on December 31st with Tulane. Interesting scheduling there. It looks like that game should end, barring overtime, which I don't necessarily see happening against Tulane, right before the kickoff of the Liberty Bowl or before the festivities start. So that is going to be an interesting one to see how the Tigers fans choose on that one. Obviously, with Memphis may not be in the Liberty Bowl. I wouldn't expect them to be in the Liberty Bowl. I think they're going to have a better year than that. But if they are in the Liberty Bowl, it will certainly be interesting to see what the Tiger fans decide on that day. Do they go to the basketball game and try to make it to the Liberty Bowl? Do they decide not to go to the basketball game and just hang out at the Liberty Bowl? So obviously that's all hypothetical, but definitely interesting schedule choice there.
It sure is. And I'm sorry for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl with TV. You know, that was driven by TV. That wasn't administration,
right.
For the Tigers or for the conference. TV just dictates so much of our lives. But there will be, like you said, with the 12:30 tip, there'll be a chance to scamper out to both. But there's a chance, even with a Tiger 10-win season, that not enough SEC teams. The Tigers could be back. Could be back in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and then that would present, a real dilemma.
Yeah,
that
it would.
day. I don't even know if you could even start with going to TV and going. Can we go a little bit earlier? Can we go a little bit later? Can we go another day? Because they just don't schedule and plan on the fly like that with production people and equipment.
Right.
And you just can't. You may not like it, but you kind of have to understand that.
Yeah, you do, and again, like you say, depending on how the rest of the conference does. Memphis, depending on UCF, obviously looking very good. So there's a chance that they might get that Group of 5 bid to the New Year's Six, as we know. So that could leave Memphis looking somewhere else. So there is certainly that chance of Memphis being in the Liberty Bowl, and I think at that point, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl is going to be obviously they're probably going to be a little bit disappointed in this schedule already. Certainly, if Memphis finds their way into that game. Knowing the fans here, and this is no shot at the basketball team whatsoever, but I feel like the choice would be football for that game. That's just me, though. Obviously, a lot of excitement surrounding the basketball program this year.
Conference opener.
It is the conference opener. Drew, you're a regular, obviously, at the Tiger football games. What would you think the Tiger fans would choose if they had to decide between, do I try to go to both or do I go to one or the other?
Playing Texas Tech.
It's not really a choice. You go to the Liberty Bowl. I mean, I know it's the conference opener. It's a nationally televised game, but it's a nationally televised game that's not really a nationally televised game.
Yeah, the Sports Network.
It's not CBS. It's CBS Sports Network. And full disrespect to Tulane and its basketball program, it's the Tulane Green Wave at FedEx Forum when you're in the Liberty Bowl.
That was a shot. That was an absolute shot.
You didn't even scotch it with no disrespect intended.
Full disrespect. No, you go to the Liberty Bowl, regardless of who you're playing against a Big 12 program. I mean, heck, it could be Kansas if they're somehow able to squeak out 6-7 wins. You go to the Liberty Bowl.
Boy, it'd be fun to maul Les Miles, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would.
Boy, that would be a story in itself if Kansas finds its way to a bowl game. I mean, that alone.
You know, if they hadn't lost last week to Coastal Carolina, you could see the threading of the needle and maybe it happening for them. Austin Eldridge in our Family Leisure studio. I am in Oxford. Dave's away today. He'll be back on Monday. And Austin gave you the full lineup for our show today. We got a lot to get to today. It should be fun and ready for the football picks. I'm sorry that I omitted Georgia against Notre Dame. We'll get to that pick as well when I sent you guys the list of the games last night in the NFL. The Gardner Minshew show. It's happening before our eyes. I mean, it's almost Linsanity, isn't it?
Yeah, Brett, I don't.
Minsanity?
The Thursday night football.
It's a bad ball.
It is bad football. I'm not even going to, I don't want to sugarcoat it.
It's made for Gardner Minshew, isn't it?
I was watching Cardinals Cubs and I was watching Tulane Houston.
Me too, mostly.
I checked into Thursday night football on occasion, but sitting there, if I would have sat there and attempted to watch that game, it is just so bad. And I know Jacksonville scored 20 points. And I do enjoy watching Gardner Minshew. I think he's been a great story so far. The former Northwest Community College Ranger turned Washington State star, now getting a shot in the NFL. It's a great story, but the Titans are so bad. And Jacksonville's really not that much better. Leonard Fournette, other than that, if he would not have had, I believe it was a 69 or 70-yard run, somewhere in that range, he would have been in negative yards. It was bad.
Doesn't Marcus Mariota a little bit have the same affliction with the Titans that some of the not aggressive, not pounding criticism of Brady White, but some of the lighter criticism of Brady White? Because, again, last night, look at Marcus Mariota's stat line, and you go, okay, not so bad.
Right.
But if you watched any of that game or gleaned anything from that game, he's just not it.
Yeah, and I will give Marcus Mariota a little bit of credit, and this is not excusing him. I will give him the credit that he does not have a good offensive line. However, he's had what year is he in now? This is his fourth year in the NFL. Fourth year in the NFL, and has shown, in my opinion, no improvement whatsoever from day one. I don't see that team has been any better in his 4 years than it was really with Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, and it's not to crush him. It's not to crush him.
No, not at all.
Because they're kind of forever linked. The Heisman's where they went to the draft, playing each other in college. I think Oregon defeated FSU in the semis that year. Yeah, I know they did. So it's not to crush either one, but for both places, the Buccaneers and the Titans, through this point of the year, you're not re-upping with either one of them.
No, if you're the Titans, you can't. You just cannot pay Marcus Mariota that kind of money, and there are other teams out there who will probably be willing to overpay him because they still think he has potential and they need a quarterback. And the Titans, if you look around, you see what all these other quarterbacks are getting paid right now. Jared Goff, what Dak Prescott's about to get paid. You know you can't afford to give Mariota that kind of money. If you're the Titans, you're just going to have to. If he wants that kind of money, you're just going to have to be willing to let him walk and take your chances with somebody else because you've seen what he brings you, and it's just not enough to be worth it.
Has he really been that much different than Jake Locker?
No, not especially. I mean, he's had his moments, but unfortunately for the Titans, those moments have still not been enough to get him to a playoff.
It just hadn't been close. This hour, our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. Give them a call at 362-8833. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Again, that phone number, 362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on the remaining 2019 models. The 2020s are rolling in, and always special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 or 2020 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving in style. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is just now breaking. The Patriots have released Antonio Brown amidst the scandal that is Antonio Brown, it seems, these days. So his stay in New England has lasted all of one game, and still, of course, it was a good game. Still awaiting, of course, the results of some of the accusations against him. Of course, the latest being the text messages that have come out from another accuser, not Brittany Taylor, but one of his other accusers. So the story that is Antonio Brown does not appear to be going away anytime soon, and just the latest in the saga that has been Antonio Brown.
Boy, it has been, Austin, and we know your feelings, and you're reporting on the young lady from this area, and you just wonder if it was league, Patriots combination, just too much noise, or have they already, it's pure speculation,
of course,
have they already been hit with overwhelming evidence and heading something off at the pass? Again, that's pure speculation. He deserves his day. He deserves to defend himself. But the other side also deserve to have their grievances and allegations aired and investigated. And you just wonder if the league, the Patriots, all of the above just said no thank you. If it doesn't work with the Patriots, where's it going to work?
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are the team that seems to turn everyone around. So if it's not going to work there, then I think his days may be numbered in the NFL. We will see.
We will see. My top story today, that was a blockbuster. And I've yet to see that. I'm sorry. I don't know why I haven't.
It literally popped up on my phone while you were doing your live read there for Lexus. It literally just broke.
Very good. The Lexus live breaking news today.
The breaking news brought to you by Lexus Memphis.
Thank you. We appreciate them more than we even do. My top stories: Yankees have already. Well, they clinched last night. Dodgers already. Braves really close. Astros sitting pretty. and the Cardinals landing the first punch on the Cubs last night. Cubs fighting back today, leading 1-0, top of the sixth, base runners everywhere. Again today for the Cardinals, even last night in victory, a lot of LOBs, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And last night, Joe Madden, he emptied his holster last night. He went all in with the late-breaking addition of Rizzo to the lineup, had Baez pinch running. I was listening driving home, and I thought the Cardinals announced crew, and I like them. I call all of them at least friendly, if not friends.
Right.
Way too much whining about at 5 till 6, Rizzo in the lineup, that it wasn't early enough. There's no rules around that.
There's not.
When you walk out there to that umpire, you can put in Steve Bartman. If you
I was going to say, if there's rules on that, then so much for the pitching changes and the lineup changes mid-game.
Right.
Might as well throw those out the window.
And I just thought went into it kind of way too much whining about that. The Cardinals did win last night with the comeback win, but Rizzo came up big with the big cloud early.
He did.
And the Cubs fall back.
Well,
Not top story of the day.
almost got ahead of the sounder there. Well, my not top story was going to be more of Antonio Brown news, but we just covered that, so I'll go to my backup, which is another NFL player, but this time it's Cam Newton, who has been ruled out yet again against Arizona. And Brett, Cam Newton has so much potential, so much promise, such a big, athletic, great player. Just cannot seem to get the injury monkey off his back, so to speak.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault, but and I hate it for him. I certainly hope that he can recover, but it just feels like every year we seem to get closer to the is Cam ever going to be the same again argument.
And Cam Newton and Ben Roethlisberger have kind of been on the unfair receiving end of this.
Yes.
They are so big that they take shots that if it were a smaller quarterback, a Russell Wilson, or even when Tony Romo wasn't small, but a smaller type, Drew Brees, or maybe even a more veteran quarterback, they would take some shots that should have been called penalties through the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were having to take those. Cam Newton, I'm not so sure in this 150th year of college football that we're celebrating, his 1 year, his one season at Auburn, it may have been the best season I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely so. And all the best to Cam, and we will see what happens. But, yeah, and I mentioned to you on the last time I was on with you, ever since that Super Bowl where he took all those shots to the head, he just has never seemed to be the same to me.
He hadn't, and I think Carolina should really be criticized pretty heavily for the lack of what they have put around him and really trying to fortify a team around him. My not top story, any upsets out there this weekend in college football, it was a chalky forecast of the season. The magazines all were the same. The preseason predictions, all the same. And so far, it's all played out. Very chalky, very all the same. There really haven't even been a mild upset so far this year. Heck, Tulane's comeback last night might have been one of the bigger stories so far.
That was a fantastic comeback.
It was, but no real shockers.
If we're going to have one, I feel like this may be the week 4. We finally have some ranked matchups. What I was trying to say.
I'm with you. So this could be crazy weekend.
Do you give any credit to the Citadel over Georgia Tech last week, or?
I do. I will grant you that FCS over an FBS, but Georgia Tech is just really bad too.
Yeah,
so.
and first-year coach, and the reason why there's a first-year coach, but it has felt pretty chalky all year, and we'll see if this weekend is more chalk or more taking care of business for the big boys, or if it's a wild weekend in front of us.
We sure will. I'll let you know as well that I am, as Brett has mentioned a few times, I'm here in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Huge discounts on all spas. Now is the time to buy. Over 50 spas in stock and ready to ship. $8,000 spas are now only $44.99. That's a heck of a deal, almost 50% off. 4-person spas starting at $24.99 and swim spas from $89.99 is the lowest prices all year. Special financing is available. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40, where family and fun come together.
Austin Eldridge in that Family Leisure studio, and Bruce Marshall to join us next. You're listening to Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
It's happened again. Miramichi, that heaven in Woodstock, 15 miles north of downtown Memphis. Miramichi has been made the #1 public golf course in the state of Tennessee. 15 minutes from downtown, all this natural beauty, this very tough test of golf is there for you, and it's #1 again. They've improved again, too. They've made changes. They always do. They want you to have the best golfing experience you could possibly have. And they keep on making these adjustments. They've knocked down some trees. They made it easier. They have better conditions with grass. The greens, outstanding. And once again, they are #1. I also should tell you they've got new golf carts, and they've got these cool little things where you hook up your phone, it'll charge, and at the same time, you've got GPS on your phone. All kinds of innovation and a world-class golfing experience at Miramichi in Woodstock. I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Your trusted source for pool supplies and end-of-season pool closings is Mario's Pool Supplies in Germantown, Tennessee. As the pool season crawls to an end, let Mario close your pool for the winter and secure it with a new safety cover to protect your children and pets over the winter. The 2019 People's Choice Award winner for pool supplies and service, Mario's Pool Supplies, 1986 Exeter Road in Germantown, Tennessee, is your one-stop shop for everything pools. Call 901-552-3399 or stop in and talk to Mario today.
Get your gun, Nellie, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Branch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week will be our family show as we have former Tigers Ray and Sam Kraft in studio with John and I as we look towards Navy and talk the family tradition of Tiger football.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Olchin and Brett Norsworthy.
And welcome back into Sports Time. Austin Eldridge here with you, filling in for Dave Woloshin alongside Drew Barrett here in the Family Leisure Studios. Brett Norsworthy is in the Family Leisure Studio South down in Oxford, Mississippi, and we are going to be joined momentarily by Bruce Marshall, a good friend of the show, and he knows his stuff. We'll be talking some college football odds, a little NFL as well with Bruce. Some big games coming up this weekend, Brett, including the one where you are currently stationed.
Big games this weekend. We'll go over them all, pro and college, with Bruce Marshall. Bases loaded, top of the 6 for the Cardinals, and that has been the problem a lot this year for the Cardinals, leaving a lot of runners on base. They got to make the Cubs pay right here.
Yeah,
Cub
nobody
fans,
out too. So
Cub fans want the Cubs to hold. 360-8255, our First Bank phone line, 67129, our First Bank text line, and First Bank. They have stories and a record of customers reaching high. Community banks are the preferred lender of people building a success story. Build your success story with First Bank. 4 great locations in Memphis, on Poplar, one in Germantown, one 8398 Highway 64 in Bartlett, one on Highway 64 in Oakland. Experienced Memphis bankers that know that you know and that you can trust. They all have deep Memphis roots in banking and business experience and expertise. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com, because First Bank, they're here to help you. Whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, you can do it at First Bank. Again, FirstBankOnline.com. We're going to visit with Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. We talked about that good weekend in college football. I love everybody's talked about Georgia and Notre Dame a lot this week. I really like the Michigan-Wisconsin matchup. I think it's crucial for Jim Harbaugh.
It certainly is. The Cardinals have scored 2 runs, by the way, so it is 2-1. But Michigan, Wisconsin. If Jim Harbaugh, if there was ever a game other than Ohio State, of course, that he really needed to win early in a football season, this has got to be it, right?
To back some people off.
Yeah, you feel like with a team like Michigan and they're number 11 in the country, you would ordinarily look at that and say, hey, they're ranked number 11, they're undefeated. He's not on the hot seat, right? But for Jim Harbaugh, it's just a little bit of a different thing, it feels like, at Michigan.
And I think it's mostly internal heat and pressure that he's putting on himself, not to be fired, and I don't think he's done anything to be fired, but he needs that win. Bruce Marshall joins us now. Good Friday afternoon to you, Bruce Marshall. Let's start with Michigan and Wisconsin. Jim Harbaugh needs this one.
Well, I'll tell you, Brett,
yeah.
you know where I am with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I don't have it's just it's not that he's ready to get fired, but his record in big games is abysmal there. Ohio State, and that's eventually what he's going to be judged upon this year. Then I think he's really got some problems. But he's also lost 3 straight bowl games. He lost that game to Notre Dame last year. He's lost a couple times to Michigan State. Now they get they did get Wisconsin last year, but that was in Ann Arbor, and Wisconsin was kind of struggling at that point. It's a better Wisconsin team this year. They're very happy with Cohen, quarterback. He's an upgrade on Hornibrook, and I think even if Hornibrook didn't transfer, someone's going to beat him out. And they have a redshirt freshman they like a lot too. And then Jonathan Taylor running the football extremely well. He's in the Heisman mix, maybe not in the top tier, but in the second tier of Heisman candidates. That defense is fine. And they look better than Michigan to me. I don't know. I mean, I know the national media they're obligated to put Michigan in the top 5 or 6 every year. I don't see it. And they're not covering point spreads that much either. Harbaugh has been a losing proposition for a couple of years against the number.
What's the goal sheet?
35-22, Wisconsin.
35
goal sheet key release.
35-22 Wisconsin key
Wow.
release from the goal sheet. That raises the internal and external pressure, doesn't it?
Well, if it works like we say it would, but I think he's rapidly getting to the point. And knowing Harbaugh's history, Brett, I mean, he's jumped before. I mean, listen, that after a couple of years, the 49ers, that looked like the best fit in the world. And all of a sudden, it unraveled there pretty quick. And Stanford, it was only, 4 years he was there, too. So he's already beyond. He's into his 5th year here, and that's beyond where he was with the 49ers and Stanford. I think he's just, I don't want to draw an analogy to Bobby Petrino, but he's one of those guys, after 4 or 5 years, he wears thin. And I think he's wearing thin.
Maybe the last person on God's green earth Jim Harbaugh would want to be compared to is Bobby Petrino. It used to be a big rival. It used to be the Super Bowl of college football for the month of September. Florida, now a 14-point favorite tomorrow bright and early in the swamp over Tennessee. Bruce, is it even a rivalry anymore?
Yeah, boy, it hadn't been for a while. I mean, Tennessee hadn't been good for a while, and beating them. And most of the time through the Spurrier years, that was the case. And most years ago, the Joshua Dobbs teams, that was Butch Jones's best team, and McElwain was starting to have trouble. But for the most part, it's been Florida, and a couple miracle wins in there. Now, I was just down there this week and ran into some Florida people and had to ask them what they thought of the game last week. If you bet that thing late, you cover the point spread with that game. But there were a lot of people in that game. It's not going to be any worse than Felipe Franks, and the Franks' injury is not necessarily going to stay for Florida. That maybe there was an upside limit with him. So be fine with Trask in their quarterback. We will see this week, but I am not on Tennessee bandwagon. The win over Chattanooga doesn't impress me. Much more concerned about blowing that game late to BYU and the defense getting rolled by Georgia State 3 weeks ago. 35-13. Florida, I don't think they're going to miss the Franks at all. I think Trask will be fine. And Todd Grantham's defense dictates matters in the swamp.
Florida over Tennessee, big in the swamp, 35-13.
Not only a win, but a blowout. So interesting there. Bruce, a game that Brett is actually set up down in Oxford right now, a big one down in Oxford tomorrow. California coming in nationally ranked after last week in a surprising 3-0 start, including the win over Washington. Ole Miss 2-1. Their defense has been looking really good. Sluggish performance last week against Sela, but not really any surprise there. Kind of just coming out, mailing it in, and getting a win and getting out without anybody getting hurt. This is a big, big game for Ole Miss if they want to have that chance to get bowl eligible. Really need to get this one. How do you see this one playing out tomorrow?
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating because, Brett will see Cal in person. I'll be interested to see what he says about him. Cal is not what the prototype Pac-12 team. Maybe it was the Sonny Dykes Cal of a couple of years ago. Air raid, spread the field, didn't play much defense. This is a totally different sort of team that Justin Wilcox has built. Granite defense. I mean, this is a top 10 defense, and they beat 2 years in a row. Seattle and won that game 2 weeks ago, which impressed the heck out of us. They don't score much, but I wonder. They just run the offense very conservatively. They don't have to open it up if they don't have to, and maybe they could do a little bit more. They did score 33 on a Mike McIntyre defense in Colorado last year, and they beat them. Maybe they do some business a little more than they have in recent weeks. I don't know about corralling this offense for Ole Miss. It's a big test for Rich Rod, and to get this offense going, and the meat of the SEC is coming up, and this is really their last dress rehearsal here. So we'll see. We had at Cal updated score forecast 23-17. They're a slight. We don't think they should be a slight dog here. They're a pretty legit contender in the Pac-12, I think, and I'm not sure yet about Ole Miss.
23-17, goal sheet says Cal over Ole Miss, and that total, 23-17, that's right around that Vegas posted 41.5 over and under. Bruce, I just see no way this is a scoreboard popping game. I think it could even be a 17-13, a 14-10 type affair. A run-oriented, defensive-oriented game at 2:30 tomorrow for CBS Central Time.
Yeah.
Texas A&M hosting Auburn. Auburn with Gus Malzahn going in there 3-0. A&M at 2-1. Jimbo Fisher, this could be his biggest win to date on the field. His biggest win so far has been at the bank. This could be the biggest one on the field. The Aggies play in Auburn.
Well, I think his biggest win is going to be at the bank for a long time to come. I'll tell you that. But you're right. This would be big, and it'd be big for Gus too. I mean, you remember, down in Hoover, and all the Auburn people down there talking to us. They were telling us that Gus is back in his wheelhouse here. He's calling plays again, and back then we weren't sure if it was going to be Gatewood or Bo Nix at quarterback, but Nix has emerged, and I think he's better than even Gus dreamed. He's better than a lot of Auburn people thought he could be at this stage. He's completing 75% of his passes. Gus is also covered that he normally would have trouble. The Tulane number, he ended up covering that and covered against Kent State last year. Those have normally been tough numbers for Auburn to cover, laying big points, but Nix is progressing so fast. We'll see about A&M. I mean, they've had one test. They really weren't. I know they got the spread cover at Clemson. They were never really in that game. Don't want to hold that against them, but the other two foes were not much. We'll find out a lot more about A&M here. Here's the technical note in this series. Since the Aggies joined the SEC in 2012, they played 7 times against Auburn, and the home team has yet to cover a point spread. So it's an all-visitor here. Gus has won at Kyle Field. I think he does it again. I still think Auburn's a team to really watch here. 27-25, slight upset. We're taking Auburn in what should be a dandy tomorrow at Kyle Field.
Close one. That's going to be a good game.
Goal sheet says War Eagle, 27-25 over Gig'em, over A&M.
Well, Bruce, possibly one of the bigger games for Brian Kelly in his career at Notre Dame is coming up tomorrow at Georgia. Georgia right now, to me, looking like the best team in the country. I think they look better than Alabama has so far. They look better than Clemson has so far. If this is going to be the year or if Georgia's going to get it, I feel like this needs to be the year for Kirby to get it done. Big test coming up for them with Notre Dame. I like Georgia in this one, though. They played so well. I just don't know if Notre Dame really has what it takes to get it done. But how do you guys see that one going down tomorrow?
Yeah, you're right. I don't think Notre Dame wins here either, although and there's still some Georgia people who think that Georgia really got, should have been in the Final Four instead of Notre Dame last year. I don't think that's the case. That was like a quarterfinal game effectively for Georgia against Alabama, but it doesn't matter what I think. If Georgia's mad about it, still they still are. We'll see if they can take out some frustration on Notre Dame. I don't think it's going to be that easy, though. 2 years ago, it was Jake Fromm's coming out party when he was a freshman. They came up at South Bend 20-19. That kind of triggered a big year for Georgia in 2017. We'll see if Notre Dame can avenge that. I don't think so, but I think this number is a little bit too high. Partly, I think, because people are equating this game to Notre Dame Clemson last year, and I don't know that Georgia is that good yet or is going to be able to do what Clemson did to Notre Dame in the Final Four. Ian Book, very, very accomplished quarterback. He's a senior. I think he's going to do some business against Georgia. I know Georgia's good, but, Vanderbilt's the best team they played thus far, so we'll find out a little win. I just don't know if they're 2 touchdowns better. 36-27 Georgia.
Oh, okay. So you got it fairly close. Okay. I like that.
36.
Yeah, we'll see.
36-27.
It's a 14-point number, so I think we'll take the points. They're not my favorite play on the card, but I'd rather take than late points on this one.
All right, before we go to NFL, give us one that we haven't discussed from college football that's one of the favorite plays from the goal sheet from you, Bruce Marshall.
Well, I'll tell you tomorrow, I take a look at Northwestern here, which has really been a pretty good dog, and they're getting 9 points from Michigan State. And those offensive woes that bothered Michigan State last year resurfaced against Arizona State last week. They also couldn't line up properly for a field goal to tie the game, and of course overtime in the last minute. But 10-7 loss there. That's a big gut punch to Mark D'Antonio. Thinking this offense was going to be up to speed this year. Apparently it's not. Pat Fitzgerald has been a great underdog in his career, and he's been outstanding lately against Michigan State. He's won the last 3 in the series as an underdog, each time straight up wins for Northwestern. Looked like they finally started to get things a little more in gear last week with Hunter Johnson at quarterback. Bowser might come back to the running back. I'm just playing the technicals here and taking Northwestern plus the points. We ended actually, let's call it 21-20 Northwestern. Slight upset. In fact, let's reduce that score, 17-16. That's a little high. 17-16 is about right. We'll take the points plus 9 with Northwestern. Let's do it to us tomorrow.
I like that one. Northwestern does play well as an underdog.
I like that one, too. And Dave likes Northwestern this week when we get to our picks, because I think we all love Pat Fitzgerald. To the NFL, now the Patriots AB less. That was quick. It was a good game, but it was one game. Tell us about 2 or 3 of your favorite NFL games this weekend, Bruce.
I'm going to go with some dog. Yeah, I think the Patriots half their team better not show up to give the Jets a chance this week. So I don't think AB's being gone will hurt much. There's some of these underdogs that are kind of interesting, but some of the quarterbacks here, Oxford's going to drift away with Mason Rudolph in there. They are still used to winning. There are still plenty of big play weapons around him. James Conner is apparently okay. Forgive me for not quite buying on the 49ers yet, but they have adjusted this number literally a full touchdown without Big Ben now, maybe. But I think Rudolph looked okay last week, and this is too many points. So I think Pittsburgh hangs around. And I kind of think the Giants, I've lost 2 in a row with the Giants here, so I'm breaking all my rules here. I'm going to give them one more shot with Daniel Jones, because really, I wanted to see Eli do well here. I think he was holding them back, and when things didn't go right, couldn't improvise at all, and the offense would break down too easily with Eli there. Daniel Jones can extend some plays. He can get rid of the ball quickly. He looked very comfortable in preseason. It was just preseason. But he's got Saquon Barkley, and biggest of all, I don't trust Tampa Bay and Jameis Winston to land this many points. So let's give the Giants a shot with another young quarterback this week, but I think he'll acquit himself pretty well and maybe give the Giants a chance. By the way, they were 6-1 as a road dog last year. That was when you played the Giants, not at home.
That's a bold pick in the Daniel Jones debut, the Giants to stay close to the Buccaneers down in Tampa. What about the Cowboys and that gigantic line that they're favored in, Bruce?
Wow, I'm not going to make a case for Miami, although, 20-point dogs have generally been a pretty good play. We haven't seen too many of them. They've only the last 5 in the NFL. But I have a hard time making a case for Miami. I have not seen an NFL team try to tank. There have been some bad NFL teams, but usually they're not really trying like these guys are, and they're all about the draft picks. I don't agree with anything they're doing down there. I don't think you trade away your best young players like Tunsil and Fitzpatrick just for more draft picks. I mean, you want young building blocks like that. Don't trade them away. The whole thing is a mess, and Dallas looks pretty hungry right now, and the schedule's breaking really nice for Dak and his contract negotiations. I'll tell you that. You better make that deal quick. He'll never have his stats look better than they do now. 34-7, Josh Rosen's not going to make that much difference for the Dolphins. They get pounded again.
I was about to ask you about that, Bruce. Does Josh Rosen give the Dolphins any shot to get a win or two this year, or does it matter who they have back there?
Boy, that's a good question. I mean, they do get the Jets twice, so they may have a chance to get one there. But it's going to be tough. I think, unlike the Browns 2 years ago were somewhat competitive, and they lost like 6 games by 6 points or fewer, and the Lions weren't that overwhelmed in 2008. This team looks like it's worse than either of those two, and they're not coming close. So I think, it's hard to see them getting a win.
Yeah.
Bruce, tell our listeners more about all the information they can get from the Gold Sheet this weekend. You had an outstanding, you're having a great season with us. You had an outstanding week last Friday on the air with us. Tell our listeners how they can get more information from you.
Thanks, Brett. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. Hey, we got all this weekend's games, the ones we're talking about today, all those others, all those NFL games. Our NFL late telephone service, 22-6. We're really rolling. We had the Jags last night, Gardner Minshew and company, so that started the weekend off right. Goldsheet.com. Read this new issue. My picks are also up there, as well as the Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Bruce, have a great weekend. Good luck, and we will talk with you again next Friday. Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Bruce.
You too, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Bruce Marshall with the Gold Sheet with us every Friday, a staple with Dave since 1992. Been on with Dave, and it is fun to visit with him every week. Look, this weekend, I know you're going to want to have plenty of food around if you're tailgating, you're having game-watching parties, and a good place to do it would be through Jason's Deli. Let them cater it. Go by there, get your food before you head out to your game or to your game-watching party, whether it's tailgating or at home. Jason's Deli, it's always about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your own sandwich via the Build Your Own Sandwich selection, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. All the great locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. If you're in any of those locations, you can always end it with the free ice cream. And don't forget about Jason's Deli as we approach dinner time tonight before you're on your way out maybe to high school football in the area or something to do on Friday night. Don't forget about them at dinner time. Always great at lunchtime, always great for catering. Catering anytime, anywhere, plenty of organic food to choose from. If you're in the locations, great salad bar, over 30 items just on it. The great salads in the restaurant like the Mesa Chicken Salad, the Chicken Club Salad, the Big Chef Salad, the Taco Salad, and soon it's going to be chili season for me. It's chili season year-round at Jason's Deli, but not for me when it's 95 degrees outside. I know you're eating it inside, but there's just something to me and chilly weather. And
there's something about chili in the fall. Something about
it sure is. It's a lot of fun in the fall. It makes me feel warmer. I know the temperature inside the restaurant's the same year round. But get by Jason's Deli, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, and always you can check them out online as well. We will wrap up hour one. We're visiting with John David Bedour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. They had a knockout event this last Monday night with Coach Mike Norvell. We will talk about the future speakers. I know they're having Chad Morris coming up soon and Blake Anderson from Arkansas State University and Matt Luke from Ole Miss, and a great lineup the rest of the year. We visit with John David Bedour next. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Austin and Drew and a cast of thousands on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I love successes in business. 20 years ago, a guy named Matt Eflin decided when he graduated from the University of Memphis, he was going to get into the insurance business. And man, did he ever get into it. Now, he's got several offices around the area, all to protect you. The main one is in Bartlett, 8099 Stage Hills Boulevard. And the reason Matt is so successful, he's very young, but he's been so successful because he has a unique approach. He tries to have a one-on-one evaluation with each individual to check out their insurance needs. And he specializes in all types of insurance, personal insurance, business insurance. Basically, he sits you down and he asks you whether it's a business or whether it's your home, your family, what's the most important thing you want to protect? And then he figures out your options, collaborates with you, and voila, you're protected. 901-757-2315. That's the Eflin Insurance Group.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So, you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5 Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hey, you doing, people? And if it's a Chevy you're looking for, any new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you need to go. New 2020 Silverados and Blazers are at All Star Chevrolet, ready for you to drive today. Traverse, Equinox, Impala, best new All Star Chevy lineup ever. And most have 0 for 72 financing. So give these Chevys a test run. Roll the windows down. Enjoy the weather. Crank the music up. Pretend like the car is going to be yours, because it is going to be yours. And best of all Star has the ABCs. A, the All-Star Challenge. Take any written offer from any Mid-South auto dealer to All-Star Chevrolet, and you can get a better deal, new or pre-owned, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, best buying experience, period. No wasting your time, they make it easy. And C, customer care. You're all in. Loaner cars, free oil changes. It's the All-Star family, and they're going to treat you like that. It's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Well, welcome back into Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. Austin Eldridge filling in for Wolo today. Brett Norsworthy down in Oxford. We're going to be joined momentarily by John David Bedour of the Touchdown Club of Memphis, as they have Chad Morris from the University of Arkansas coming up on September the 30th. And, of course, last time they had Mike Norvell. And, Brett, some good guests for the Touchdown Club this year.
Touchdown Club's done it again, and John David Bedour, he indeed joins us now. And, John David, you may have set a high bar for the rest of the year, because everybody I've talked to that went to the event on Monday night on campus at the University of Memphis said Mike Norvell just hit it out of the ballpark. Congratulations to you and the club, but also I think you got a real glimpse of why he's being so successful and so many people love playing for him, John David.
Oh, absolutely. It was a fantastic meeting. And also Mike gave us a grand tour of the facilities. And you know, after our great dinner that we had there from Central Barbecue, we went into the team meeting room, and he gave such a speech that it got everybody so excited. 94-year-old, our chaplain, Father Veron, jumped up and said, "Put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play."
Father Veron, he is willing and always a staple of that club. But you've got another great speaker. It's not this Monday, but it's coming up soon. Chad Morris, who got another win for the Razorbacks and trying to turn that around. And I know you're going to have the Arkansas State head coach, Matt Luke, coming up. You've already had Tony Barnhart and Mike Norvell. What a start to the year, and what are the rest of the year remaining?
It's been fantastic. And let me tell you, you're right. On Monday night, September the 30th, we will be calling the Hogs. And we want all Hogs to be there. Chad Morris is coming in. And if anybody wants to come, it's open to the public. Go to tdcmemphis.com. TDC, Touchdown Club, but just the initials, tdcmemphis.com. You can look at all our events through the rest of the year, and we really just started. Go to plans and pricing, and then it's $40 a meeting. What do you wear? I just usually wear khakis and a polo shirt this time of year. It's a great time for everybody that's a football fan. And you know, Stan, one thing about it, whatever school you are a member of, you love hearing the other guys.
Sure.
You know, that room with Mike Norvell, we probably had 12 different schools represented. But, you know, Mike said, everybody in this room now, and if you live in this area, you need to be a Memphis fan. Be a fan of the Tigers.
That's right, and at y'all's club, it's been one of the great things for years about it. Yeah, show up in your team's gear, show up for your coach, but also the respect that you can feel in that room. And for Chad Morris, it's a real Memphis feel to his staff with Sean Toohey Jr. on that staff, Coach Ingram on that staff. They're really recruiting Memphis well. Will y'all honor a high school player that night?
We will, and we'll have one. We're going to have an outstanding, highly recruited player either on offense or defense. It will be a great player, I'll promise you that. No school is recruiting Memphis in the last 12 months like Arkansas.
That's a fact. That's just pure fact.
They are everywhere. They've already committed some really high-profile guys. They're working on others, and they made it a priority, and they put the work in, and I think it's going to pay off not only this year coming up, but in the years to come. And,
that's right.
You know, we're excited to have him over here. And you know, we want to make everything for whatever school's here so special for those alumni and fans that come to our meeting. And then we do the same thing for every school. We want to make it special.
For sure. The Hogs will be called that night. We'll talk about it again next Friday. John David Bedore, we appreciate you today, and congratulations again on the great success you had with the Tigers night on campus with Coach Norvell. Have a great weekend. Pull hard for the Vols tomorrow.
Thank you, John David.
Well, it's going to be a tough one.
It will be, but I know you'll be pulling hard. Thank you, John David.
Thank you. Bye.
You got it. John David Bedore with the Memphis Touchdown Club, and he's right about Arkansas, Austin. They have made Memphis a priority. And also, John David, correct about, it may not just be for this year, but getting to know those coaches, getting to know 9th and 10th graders. And we'll also visit with Glenn Rogers Jr. at 4:30 about that. It is a relationship business, and the Razorbacks they're putting their flag in the ground and recruiting Memphis very, very hard.
I can tell you one of those Arkansas commits will be playing tonight, so that'll be interesting over at Whitehaven. So
they got a couple of them at Whitehaven. Arkansas's already got one, and they want a few more. 1 hour in the books. We'll start hour 2 with Peter Edmiston from The Experience with C.J. Hurt, and also from The Athletic. We'll talk Grizzlies. That's next. Austin Eldridge in our Family Leisure studio. You're listening to Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Eli Savoy here for my friends over at the Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Here to let you know it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the new 2019 arrivals from Callaway. Introducing the new Callaway Jaws MD5 wedges and the new Callaway Apex irons. The new Jaws MD5 wedges with groove-in-groove technology is the most aggressive groove in golf, and the Apex and Apex Pro is the ultimate forged player's iron with unmatched feel, incredible distance, playability, and control. Let us help you get custom fit for free today. Just a few of the exciting new 2019 Callaway arrivals you'll find now at the Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit Edwin Watts Golf Shop and check out the new Callaway Jaws MD5 wedges and the new Callaway Apex irons. The Edwin Watts Golf Shop on the corner of Poplar and Perkins Extended. We'll see you there. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
One of the things that makes a truly special restaurant special is its selection of bourbons and whiskeys, and 117 Prime is no exception. Try the William LaRue Weller with his high-toned pepper oak tingle at the finish, or the Weller 12-year, or Old Scout, a union of 2 whiskeys distilled from classic bourbon mash bills, and of course 4 Roses single barrel. Sure, you're going to 117 Prime for a delicious meal, but why not also enjoy a delicious drink as well? As with everything else, if you want perfection downtown, you want 117 Prime.
The Spirit Shop is having a broadcast all day Wednesday from 10 a to 6 p. The Spirit Shop is literally pulling out all the stops all day with Sports 56. Sample all your favorite bourbon, beer, and wines. We got a food truck. Come win lots of door prizes. Tickets to the U of M Navy game, $50 gift cards to Neil's Bar and Grill, $50 gift cards to the Butcher Shop, 4 rounds of golf at Wedgwood, including the cart. Make the Spirit Shop your liquor, wine, and beer oasis. 4848 Poplar.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPGF-LP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. I'm having a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun on a football Friday. It's hard not to have fun when you're talking to Brett Norsworthy. Just a consummate professional. Drew Baird, of course, adding to the fun as well on the other side. And we're going to add to that fun a little bit more now as we have Peter Edmiston coming in, and you hear Peter every morning right here on these very airwaves with the Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt from 7 to 10 a.m. I myself producing that show as well, and those guys are incredible. They bring a flavor to radio like no other. And Peter, how are you, sir? It's great to have you along.
Well, I haven't talked to you in almost half a day.
I know, it's been a while.
How are you?
I'm not kidding you. This morning, I get up early on Friday mornings, and I turned on the radio. It was about 7:20 or so. And I thought, boy, Austin's got a long day, and I'm going to be talking to Peter in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to see CJ and Courtney tomorrow in the Grove. So it's got old home week this week. Peter, we're getting close to Grizzlies time. I mean, it's going to be a game at FedEx Forum in a couple of Sundays.
Yeah, it's you are 16 days from the first game of sorts, and then not long after that. It's 17 more days after that, so 33 days until the opener. That's about a month by my math. And, it's all happening. Next Monday, week from Monday, is Media Day. That's when all the festivities, such as they are, will begin to get underway in what is not going to be a very successful winning season, but is probably the most intriguing season in a long time for Grizzlies fans.
I was with Grizzlies long-time season ticket holders. I mean, from day one at the Pyramid when the team fresh out of Vancouver, as the blog used to be. They've been fans since then, and I don't think they were not going to renew for this year because they're big fans, and they also see it really as a real civic responsibility and a source of pride for them. But that being said, they're really excited about this year, and it's eyes wide open, as you just said. We know what the left-hand column is going to look like, but the reboot and no pretense around the reboot, the start over. I don't know anybody calling it a 3-year plan, but we know that that's probably the math. About 30 wins this year, about 35, 38 wins next year, and by the end of the 2022 season, be trying to be one of those 8 teams in the Western Conference playoffs, Peter.
Yeah, I think I've underestimated or underappreciated just exactly how much Grizzly fans wanted to see this kind of thing. It's been such a successful run. And I think it surprised Grizzly front office folks, to be honest with you. They knew that this had to come, but on the business side, they were worried and nervous about what it would mean to rebuild. Economically speaking, well, I think that's still yet to be determined, but I know at least from the early stages, the excitement about getting the kind of young talent they've gotten in the last two drafts, that alone has really pushed the interest level to a huge high. And, people, it's not as if they were beating down the doors at FedEx Forum over the last few regular seasons. I mean, this thing, whether people want to admit it or not, had more or less run its course. Everyone has incredible fondness for the core four, has incredible fondness for each one of those guys and then collectively what they've meant. But it had run its course. There was nowhere else to go. And so it's a great situation. It's a win-win. Mike Conley gets a chance to potentially win a title in Utah this year if everything breaks right. Marc Gasol's already done it. It's wonderful to see that. I think people have allowed them. That's been an exit that now is one that's pretty fun. So Mike is in town for his bowling bash and doing the thing that he does each and every September. This is the last time he'll be doing it. But even when he came back, it was the same kind of thing of it's a chance for him to get a new start in many respects and a chance for the Grizzlies to really replenish their stockpile and grow for the future. So it's been a win-win for everybody.
Well, Peter, aside from the Grizzlies, the NBA with some big news coming down today, a couple of big things coming down today, actually, with the new lineup rule. We'll get to that, I'm sure, shortly. But the bigger one was the new tampering measures that the NBA is trying to put into place, and I believe did put into place shortly before this show came on the air, officially have made that a new rule, including fines of up to $10 million, forfeiture of draft picks, suspending executives, all kinds of very stiff penalties for tampering. Have you had a chance to really look into this yet? How is this going to affect the league? And how much do you think we will see tampering, so to speak, go down? How much tampering was going on to begin with, I guess, is the first question. And then does this affect the league in a big way, or is this going to be kind of more of a behind-the-scenes thing that we don't really ever notice?
Yeah, I think it remains to be seen how it's going to affect the league because it all depends on how much stomach the league has for a fight in this matter. I don't know that we can answer that question. Historically, they haven't had much of a stomach for it at all. But it could be that some owners have started to tire of the games and pretending that people aren't talking outside of the normal windows where you're supposed to be talking, and teams having these sorts of influences. I guess one of the more intriguing aspects of this potential thing is that Adam Silver could theoretically confiscate teams' phones and communications in order to prove whether something was done or not. I think that would be a fascinating legal challenge for them to admit, okay, Jacob, look at your phone. Let's see how that goes. I'm guessing that's not going to go real well. But again, that's going to be a matter for the courts. And some of the stuff, if they try that, it'll be upheld. The other aspects of it, are fairly anodyne. You increase the fines potentially. Well, franchise values have gone up quite a bit since they put those fines in place, so that's not exactly a major difference maker there. If it has some effect, I think that overall that's probably a good thing for the league. But ultimately, what are we trying to stop here? Players can't talk to other players. This doesn't really do anything with regard to that. You're telling me LeBron James can't say, "Hey, Anthony Davis, I want to play with you."
Right.
Okay. What are you supposed to monitor these guys 24/7? I think you can try all you want, but this is a problem that's probably not going to be stamped out that easily.
And, Peter, the healthy civil libertarian in both of us, I just don't know if you're going to get very far, even if it's collectively bargained or if it's a fiat from Adam Silver on high. Hand over your papers. No, thank you, Commissioner. I don't have to do that. I live in the United States.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just think it all sounds fine in theory, but then in actuality, you say, okay, let me actually confiscate that. Oh, okay, all right, well, can you actually do that? Because this hasn't really been collectively bargained. There's some leeway and some language within the CBA that allows for the commissioner to do these sorts of things, but this may extend well beyond that. And it's just a matter now of kind of seeing, okay, like, how is it going to play out? I've always thought that kind of like tampering is something that people talk a lot about, but I don't think it's as big of a problem, really as people make it out to be. It's more of a problem of, putting stuff out in public and, making big grandiose statements and small market teams feeling like the world is against them and all that stuff. I think that's more of what you're dealing with here. But as we said before, like, there's some rumor, some discussion about Giannis being targeted by the Warriors in 2021 and all this stuff. If he ends up going and leaving Milwaukee, then, that probably is the first indicator that this thing may just be severely broken and nothing you can do as a small market is going to help you. And if that's the case, then, you can expect a really tough CBA battle coming up in the next couple of years.
Peter, fun with the Tigers schedule release today, a fun week of basketball will really be kind of starting on Sunday, November 17th, with the Grizzlies hosting the Denver Nuggets that afternoon in a matinee affair about 5 o'clock. And then Tuesday night they will host Golden State. Then on
Which
Saturday,
is also my birthday, by the way. So,
oh yeah, and keep those cards and letters coming, right?
That's exactly right. That's right. Feel free to bring those gifts over to Phoenix Forum.
So with that Golden State Peter Edmiston birthday party, and then on Saturday, November 23rd, Tiger football will be out of town that day at South Florida, but the Tigers Ole Miss at noon, and the Lakers and the Grizzlies that night. That'll be a lot of people in downtown Memphis that Saturday.
I always enjoy those two types of games. I always enjoy the doubleheader, so to speak. It's always fun to get down there, and especially that time of year, it is just crazy because, as you mentioned, you're right there on the cusp of Thanksgiving, so people are already probably making their holiday plans at that point, or maybe even have some folks in town a little bit early for it, possibly. And you've got tons of football at that point. I mean, that is when you got a lot of extremely important games going on that weekend, and then all the seasons kind of squished together. And that's why I always like October, November, because you always have everything. You got
everything's going.
You got big NFL, you got big college football, you got baseball in the heat of it. When I start paying attention, the playoffs, you've got everything else happening all around, basketball and hockey and stuff. I mean, it's pretty much everything. You want some MLS playoffs? You can have that too. All that stuff is there. So very, very cool. And yeah, I love to see the confluence. The Tiger schedule, I think the home schedule is just kind of it's more about the talent playing for the Tigers than it is necessarily about the matchups. It's not an overwhelming home schedule, but the people that will be in those uniforms will be quite overwhelming.
Yes, they will be. And Peter, we were at the press conference the day that John Calipari went on one of his famous screeds and might be apt for Penny Hardaway to do the same thing this year. Come to see us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you want to start giving away TVs, I think that's a good way to think about it. You remember when Cal gave away the TVs in the upper deck? All the fans randomly somebody would get a TV every single game. Randomly. Penny can do that. Penny's got a little cash.
He's got a little influence.
Yeah. TVs ain't too expensive these days for Penny. Drop a couple grand for a couple TVs. I think that alone would boost up the attendance a little bit.
It's amazing. You can get a lot of TV now for very little money.
Oh, it's crazy. I was just talking to a friend about that. Who just put in a 65-inch TV on his outside thing, and I said setup, and it was like $600 or something, $500. Yeah. I mean, it's just like what? Like this is it's absurd. If you want to get the real super fancy, extra like LED, and then you might pay a little bit more for some of the features. But I mean, if you just want a bare bones 60, 70-inch TV, man, it's not going to cost you $1,000. I can tell you that.
Well, boy, if I didn't know it was that cheap, I'd get one myself. Good grief! Let's get this thing going. But
head out to the store. They're right there.
But Peter, we've talked about this a little bit throughout this whole cycle of recruiting for the Tigers basketball team and now football season getting started and how good the Tigers football team looks. And we talked about the excitement between the football and the basketball teams for the Tigers. Now the Grizzlies after the draft and with the excitement of having this young talent coming in for them, I'm trying to think in my time here in Memphis, I don't really recall having this much excitement and competition, so to speak, between who's going to choose what over what between the Tigers basketball, the Tigers football, and the Grizzlies basketball. It is an exciting time for all three. Really fun for Memphis right now.
Yeah, probably when you take into account the football side of it, in terms of excitement, absolutely. Now, success, the Grizzlies are not going to hold a bear into the bargain. And I think that little parlor game of which team is going to win more, the Grizzlies or the Tigers, is an interesting one because I think they'll be roughly in the same neighborhood when it comes to how many wins they're going to end up with when all is said and done. But, competition and stuff like that, I would love to see both teams be successful simultaneously because I just don't think we're going to have too much of a problem supporting both teams as a city. I just don't see it. I think there's been a lot of talk about that and, is there enough disposable income and all that? And Memphis has got its issues, but the economy in general in Memphis is about as healthy as I've seen it in a long time. And I've been here for most of my life. There's tons of development, a lot of people doing pretty well. So I think it's time to just see what happens. And I think that you're going to see healthy crowds for both. I mean, for the Grizzlies, it's going to fluctuate because, it's a young team and you're not going to see a bunch of wins. And not everyone wants to be on board to watch the development of young players. But I can tell you that those guys, at least doing everything that you'd want them to do in the off season, and even you've got like John Morant jumping on Instagram and recruiting guys like Jalen Green to try to come to Memphis, to play college basketball. I mean, that's awesome. The guy doesn't have to do that, but these guys just get it, and I think that's going to really help long term to keep that excitement level that we've talked about flowing.
Yeah.
I agree, Peter, so much. And I think one of these days we will have that year where they're both good and there will be plenty of people at both of the games. Right now, be supportive of both and a little bit patient with one of them. Peter, thank you for your time today. Have a good one tonight. Have a great weekend, and we'll visit with you again next Friday. And we'll be listening to you and CJ and Austin every morning, 7A to 10A. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Peter.
Sounds good. Thanks, y'all.
You got it. Peter Evanston with us every Friday, talking the Grizzlies and, again, looking at the Tiger schedule released today, finally released, long awaited. There were some aspects of it that we knew about. The NC State game on Thanksgiving afternoon. It will be a 3 o'clock Central game on ESPN2. NC State, what did last year they were in that really ugly, 30-28 game?
I do remember that. Was that last year? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to pull it up right now as we speak. But yeah, I do remember the game you were talking about. I'm just trying to remember if it was them.
I mean, Georgia and Notre Dame may go over that tomorrow.
Yeah, well, for Georgia, I still think it would. I like Georgia in that game, but Bruce thought it was going to be a little closer. But yeah,
he did.
I'm actually pulling up North Carolina State's schedule from last year right now, trying to see if that was indeed the contest they were involved in.
47-24 loss to Virginia Tech.
There it is. Yeah, ouch. They were in the game where they did not score any points. That was it. They scored a football team amount of points.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. If the Tigers hold them to 24 Thanksgiving afternoon in Barclays in Brooklyn, the Tigers will win big.
Well, I would agree with you 100% like that. If they can hold them to 20-plus points and under 30, that's a pretty good recipe.
You guys tell me something, because I know to the old-timers, to the experienced fan, the UAB thing with Tiger basketball, and maybe if they rekindled it in football to an older fan. What does it mean for you guys to hear Memphis UAB in basketball, Austin?
Well, for basketball, it's they didn't really lose the program, so to speak. I mean, so to me, I don't really know if I have much of a thought on it as far as I think Memphis has a very good chance to dominate those games. Memphis UAB football, now that's a little bit different because they used to be in the same conference, and it's the same in basketball. But the football team for UAB, of course, had disbanded there for a season or two. And so I think for basketball, it's a little bit different because they were never off the radar, so to speak. But it's still a cool story whenever Memphis and UAB get to play as former conference foes.
Drew, does it mean anything to you? Will you head down to Birmingham on Saturday, December 7th? Drew, I bet you're hoping you're at a American Athletic Conference football championship game.
Yeah, that's ultimately where I hope I'm at. But, I think it's great in basketball just because of how much Gene Bartow meant to both programs. Obviously, starting the UAB program, really taking Memphis to the level that it is at right now back in the early 70s. And in football-wise, bring back the bones. Give me the bones. I need the trophy. I saw it actually. The University of Memphis tweeted out pictures for Literacy Day or something like that, reading to kids with players in the athletic facilities there. And in the background, in the left corner, if you look close enough, you can actually see the Bones trophy. So we have the Bones.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back.
Let's have the Bones more prominently in the picture. That should be up at the front of the picture.
It should have been.
Drew is campaigning to regain the trophy.
Give me the Bones, baby.
GoFundMe or not GoFundMe, but whatever it is, change.org, one of those places you can get it started.
And there's going to be a couple of football, basketball conflicts and potential of the conflict that I just mentioned. There could even be the Tigers hosting that day the AAC championship game in football. All good problems, all problems that Steve Macy and the new athletics director Laird Veach and the president M. David Rudd, they'll all have to work those out. And Dave just cannot be in two places at one time.
No.
Not as talented as Dave is, he can't be in two places at one time.
I think that Dave would. I think he's with Drew. I think he'd be okay being at the American Athletic Conference Championship in football.
Wouldn't we all be? that day, wouldn't you prefer that? But, again, back to the...
As long as I'm not in Orlando again, please do not make me go back to Orlando and deal with those people.
Why? It's not like I'm just
They're the worst people
totally
ever.
Kidding. Totally kidding.
Yeah, you've kind of been enough. And
are they the LSU fans of the AAC?
Those losses.
They might be worse. I've never personally seen an LSU fan tell a 5-year-old to go bleep himself, but I have seen a Central Florida fan do it.
Oh, okay then.
Cardinals up 2-1 in the top of the 8th. Already have stranded 15 base runners. If they lose, that'll be the first thing you can point to.
And the Cubs just, again, John Brebbia got out of a bases-loaded situation in the bottom of the 7th. So this one coming down to the wire. Matt Carpenter on base right now with 1 out in the 8th. So
I love doing this radio show any time of the year, but there is a certain vibe to it for me during football season, usually in Oxford or somewhere out batting around the SEC. I am so glad today I'm on the air and not having to grind and watch this Cardinal game, because last night almost killed me.
Oh, I was when they brought Carlos Martinez in the game, I was just like, well, this lead is over. He's just not ready right now, Brett. And that's just the long and short of it. And I don't mean to take a shot at him. I really don't. I love Carlos. I love what he's been for the team. But when you have Giovanni Gallegos there, who has been much more consistent of late, to me, you just got to use the guy that can get you out of that game with a win, and Carlos is just not at that point right now.
And John Flaherty's, 23 years old, and I know he's got a long offseason ahead of him. We want him out there a lot during the postseason.
He could have gone another inning.
But he's got all winter to rest, and I heard you say that earlier today with Greg and Eli, and I'm with you. We'll keep you updated on Cardinals and Cubs, as it is another one of those. This could be a real backbreaker for the Cubs because they're starting to run out of time, as we all are, as the season marching down. This is the next to last Friday of the regular season.
Hard to believe.
For the marathon that is the baseball season. Hey, everybody, if it's a Chevy, any new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you need to go. New 2020, the 2020 Silverados and Blazers are at All-Star Chevrolet, ready for you to drive them today. Traverse, Equinox, Impala, best new All-Star Chevy lineup ever, and most have 0 for 72 financing. All-Star has the ABCs. Take the Take the ABC All-Star Challenge. Take any written offer from any Mid-South auto dealer to All-Star Chevy. If you get a better deal, new or pre-owned, they'll buy you a tank of gas. The B part of the ABC's best buying experience, period. No wasting your time. They make it so easy. Drew and Scott and all the great crew down at All-Star, they will not be wasting your time. They'll make it easy to see the customer care. You're all in, loaner cars, free oil changes. It's the All-Star family, and I can attest to it. It's not South Haven. It's not the Pike. It's not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy or go to allstarautogroup.com. We come back, we talk high school football with our good friend Glenn Rogers from MUS. We do that next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and with Austin and with Drew on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
This is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tank water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tank water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but that goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process, you're not going to be there all day, in and out, and then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope as Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Branch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They are used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working with percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back into Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. Austin Eldridge here with you in the Family Leisure Studios alongside Drew Barrett producing for us today. Brett Norsworthy down in Oxford, where Ole Miss is getting ready to take on California. And I am joined in the Family Leisure Studios right now by one of my favorite people in Memphis, and that is Coach Glenn Rogers from MUS. Always enjoy talking to you, Glenn. I miss being able to talk to you in the mornings, but I love getting to talk to you when I get to fill in here. And your boys from MUS are off to a good start and got a matchup tonight with Montgomery Bell.
Big Red, baby.
And I've heard some talk that it could be the toughest test they've had yet. But how's everything going for you guys off to that great start, and what are you expecting tonight with the matchup?
Good afternoon, all our listeners and Stats. I'm jealous, man. You're down in the Grove. I'll be there tomorrow, man.
I'll be down there tomorrow.
Yeah. So, I want both of y'all to come by and see me tomorrow. Glenn, literally where I'm doing the show from right now, I am about 200 yards max from the Grove. I'm at the end of Ole Miss, and they treat me so well.
I know they do.
It is appreciated. And this how they've stepped up this year with the technology to help me out. I can't say enough nice things about them. They've treated me so well. They got a room or two if somebody needs it for Friday and Saturday night, too. They asked me to let people know that. But tomorrow will be fun. There are a lot of Cal people here, and there's a good player for Cal from the state of Mississippi, from Hattiesburg. He played in the Mississippi-Alabama High School All-Star game. He was kind of the third receiver behind A.J. and D.K. that year. That's a long way to go play college football, but Cal always kind of comes south and gets a player or two, Glenn.
They do, and they a lot of people don't realize they practice at our facilities. They're about an hour and 20-minute practice. Real fun group of guys, a good-looking bunch, too. But like you said, they come down here and get guys every year, and they were asking about our guys and our game tonight, and our seniors have done an outstanding job. We're 4-0, and our kids, Marcus Henderson, Hunter Kendall, Keith and Hobson, three of our captains have done an amazing job of getting us off to a good start, and our quarterback, Vaught Vinge, who's a big Ole Miss fan, has done an amazing job stepping in for Sella Shy, who was our quarterback last year. And Vaught Vinge has been steady at it when our run game and then our play action. Pass getting the ball to Gavin McKay, our big-time receiver, and Roderick Lewis, the playmaker inside. We've done a good job all year long about getting a good balancing act on running the ball and throwing it.
NBA tonight, and they're kind of a straight-ahead bunch.
They are.
You know what you're going to get.
Steady Eddie, great coaching, always a well-coached team, and we're us and NBA are very, very similar. We're mirror schools, all boys.
Really are.
Tough academics, rigorous academics, and just the atmosphere when you play them, it's going to be a good, tough, hard-nosed football game. And they're going to try to pound the ball. Last year they came out their first drive, and, boy, they took it to us. And we had to regroup and get some things fixed. And then we got control of the game. And then Maurice Hampton showed up, and they didn't have an answer for him. And so we got the game under control then. But, Mo is gone. And so we got to do a good job of staying in our gaps and putting points on the board when we need to.
So what do you think what's going to be the key for you guys to keep this streak going? to get another win here tonight. What do you think you guys are going to really have to key in on to stop NBA?
Well, defensive, we got to stop the running game. We got to get them to throwing the football, which is something they don't really like to do. We got to get them in second and long, third and long, and get them off their get them out of their comfort zone. And then on offense, we got to put points on the board. We got to take advantage of our matchups. We got to be able to run the ball when we need to or when we want to, and throw the ball just about when we want to. And so, and then special teams is always, they're good on special teams. We think we can take advantage of some things, and the kicking game is always important in these high school games. Well, in any game in football, the kicking game is very important.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot in the high school games that I see even down in DeSoto County. A lot of times they come down to how good your kicking game can be. Can you make those 30, 40-yard field goals that might be long for a high schooler, but could sometimes be the difference in a win or a loss a lot of times?
Can you punt a team and pin them back? Can you return a kickoff? Can you get out of the hole on a kickoff return or a punt return? And so, can you get the snap on extra point field goal? Can you kick it? Can you get the snap on the punt? So all those things play a factor in the ball game.
And those are a lot of things that you don't think about necessarily with football. You get so focused on the main idea,
stuff,
you forget about the special teams. A lot of times that can win or lose a game for you.
And just so many hours in a week.
Yeah, and you can easily win or lose a game in the kicking game, easily.
Glenn, how much time do your specialists at MUS, your deep snappers, your holders, your kickers, how much time, non-practice time, away from y'all are they working on their game in and out of season?
Well, both our kickers, Ben Skane, who's a senior, they do an amazing job. They go to all these camps, these kicking camps. During the summer, they're on the other field practicing all the time. Even when we're gone, they're still out there kicking. And then Coach Austin, our head coach Bobby Austin, does an amazing job, an outstanding job of really, focusing in on the kicking game. We work on special teams a lot, and as far as snappers, holders, kickers, and so we do that a lot. We emphasize it a lot, and that's a part of the game. At any coach on any level, you better concentrate on the kicking game because it can get you beat.
Glenn, I'm telling you, play along with me here. Hear me out. You wouldn't take your fastest youngster because you're probably going to groom him to be your punt returner. But get a youngster about 7th or 8th grade that's one of the faster players but not the fastest and teach him how to deep snap, and here's why. Because by rule at any level of football now, you can't touch that deep snapper during the whole deal. You can't touch him when he's looking back through his knees to hike the ball. You can't touch him running down the field. And you teach a pretty fast kid to be the deep snapper, he could become a special teams force. Just be the first guy down there and crush the punt returner every time.
Absolutely. And when I was with the Buccaneers, I played with a real good deep snapper, a guy by the name of Sam Anno, who's from USC. And you can't put a price tag on those guys. A couple of years ago, the Baltimore Ravens had the young man from ECS that was a deep snapper.
Borky Cox.
So you like you said, it's got to be a guy that's pretty good speed, but he's pretty athletic, where he can get down the field and break down and make tackles. And what he does is very, very important as far as deep snapping and short snapping. That's a very, very important job.
Were you surprised White Station got the win last week over Christian Brothers?
Yeah, I was. Hadn't seen White Station a lot. We played them later on. I figured Christian Brothers would come out after our ball game, with all, juices flowing. And, it seemed like they had a hangover. Watched some of the tape this week on that game. And, boy, White Station did an amazing job of capitalizing on them on mistakes and implementing their game plan. And I tell you, hats off to White Station. They did an amazing job of going in there and getting a win in a tough environment.
And now tonight they play Collierville, 3-1. White Station at 2-2. Collierville, Houston 4-0 at Arlington 3-1. That's going to be a good one with a big crowd.
Two good games. Joe Riccone is playing his former team, Collierville versus White Station, and then like you said, the Houston Arlington game. Two really good programs. That we played a freshman JV game over at Houston. Saw the field house going up in the back of the stadium. It's really nice to see when you got those public schools really putting money into the facilities, and it's an amazing job. Houston and all four of those teams we're talking about tonight do an outstanding job coaching wise and getting these teams prepared to play.
Well, another one going on tonight, one of the Battle of the Border games, so to speak. Whitehaven, we mentioned Whitehaven a minute ago. They're going down to South Haven. This one interesting to me because 4 Dandy Dozen players will be featured in this game. The South Haven has a Notre Dame commit They also have an Ole Miss commit. Whitehaven has an Arkansas linebacker as well. They also have another 4-star linebacker in Bryson Eason. Southaven off to a rough start at 1-3. Finally got a win last week. Whitehaven 3-1 after they got the win. They got another win last week, and it's Southaven, of course, getting the win over Collierville. How's this one going to play out? Can Southaven get their second win in a row, or is Whitehaven just going to have too much for them?
I think Whitehaven, they lost a close game to Brentwood Academy up there. It was a hard-fought game, 17-14. Whitehaven led most of that game. And then, but I told the listeners last week, anytime, Brentwood's, they're 4-time state champs in our division, and so we've met up with them a couple of times. Outstanding coaching staff. When you go into a place like that, and Whitehaven, had to lead most of the game, but when you're playing a championship caliber team, you got to knock them out. If you don't knock them out, they're going to find a way to win the game. They found a way to win that ball game last week. I suspect Whitehaven will go down to Southaven tonight, and if it's a close ball game, they'll find a way to pull that game out. I expect Whitehaven to go down and get a victory tonight.
I want to continue talking high school football with you, but I want to get your thoughts because we will visit with you after the fact, after the Tigers play Navy next week. Your alma mater, proud Tiger.
Yeah, absolutely.
So far this year for the Tigers, Glenn, it's never easy, but it has been pretty comfortable for the Tigers. I hadn't even opening day, and I was for Ole Miss and thought Ole Miss could, and they did hang, but the Tigers were really in control that whole day. This 3-0 has been about as easy as it gets now. Navy and the wishbone assignment football.
Exactly, and I was at practice Wednesday, and Adam Fuller. The one big surprise that I've really been excited to witness and look at is the way Adam Fuller has done with this defense. He has been amazing. He and his defensive staff of just kind of simplifying things, making things a lot simpler for the athletes. And we got some good athletes on defense. Our D-line is stout, a lot of depth up front. And you notice that when you got depth up front with those D linemen, you can sub fresh bodies in. That's the world
in these
of
hot games.
In these hot games. And so you're going to need that against Navy. This is going to be our toughest opponent thus far this year. The only time you see this offense is once a year. And so, but they've done an amazing job of taking care of gap response. Assignment football. When you playing the triple option, it's assignment football. Who has the dive? Who has the quarterback? Who has the pitch? Mm-hmm. And so I've seen Adam Fuller Wednesday doing an amazing job of just coaching the guys up, and then the guys are believing. They're believing in it.
Well, and the other thing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. The other thing about Memphis that I noticed in the Ole Miss game was Ole Miss did not get a lot of pressure on Brady White, at least not as much as I would have liked them to get on him watching that game. And for Brady, this was a tough game for him last year. It was raining. It was on the road. The offensive line seems to be a little bit better this year, giving him protection. And Brady White continuing to, despite the seemingly low expectations of him from some Memphis fans, doing enough to win and getting the help from that defense. Does he bounce back? How do you think he holds up against this Navy team that gave him a little bit of a trouble last year?
Well, I think, Brady White, to me, and Coach Novell was at the school today visiting, and he said something that was interesting. Brady White does a good job of understanding what he's asking him to do and processing things at a quick pace. Doesn't have the strongest arm, but he processes and gets rid of the ball and makes great decisions. So that's two positives for him. And then one thing that surprised me, stats in Austin in the Ole Miss game, is with 4 minutes ago, we ran the ball right at Ole Miss.
They did.
I mean, and that
4-minute offense.
The 4-minute offense that shocked me because Benito Jones, Ole Miss,
never got the ball back.
Yeah, but Benito Jones, Ole Miss D lineman. I'm just saying him. He's one stud up front for Ole Miss. I know for sure. But I was shocked on one end, but I was also proud being a Tiger to see us control the ball and pound it at an SEC team. And so I think that's what we're gonna have to do with Navy. We're gonna have to keep the ball, keep them off balance, run the ball when we need to, and then that they play action pass because we got some good receivers. But once we get a running game established, I think that'll help any quarterback.
Yeah, especially with Gainwell and with Pop Williams being out too. That's going to be key, and he's done a real good job stepping up.
Colin Watkins and Gainwell really, those two guys have really stepped in. Think about this year. We had 3 juniors. These 3 juniors should have been seniors this year. When I'm talking about Pollard and Henderson, and then you throw in Taylor. Those were 3 juniors last year that should have been seniors, coming back.
Right.
And 2 chose to go to the NFL. Now 1 is hurt. And so those 2 guys, Colin Watkins and Kenny Gainwell have really stepped in and filled some big shoes. I've been so proud of those guys, and the O-line has been fantastic. Open up holes for them.
Yeah, no doubt.
One more high school game. You can hear Eli Savoy calling all the action of this game tonight. Christian Brothers hosting Pope John Paul. 3-1 for Pope John Paul. 2-2 for Christian Brothers. Christian Brothers, they've lost 2 in a row. Pope John Paul's lone loss was a rout at the hands of Briarcrest, Glenn.
Yeah, and Pope John Paul has a running back that's he was a sophomore, he's a junior now. He's one of the best running backs in the league and probably one of the best in the state. And so, is Christian Brothers over the, are they over this victory at White Station? You would think so, but I'm sure it's been a tough week of practice. I'm sure they locked in on the running game at Pope John Paul. Like you said, Briarcrest went up there in a hostile environment up in Nashville a couple of weeks ago and knocked them off pretty handily. And so it's Christian Brothers. If they can stop the running game tonight, because that's the ingredient for Pope John Paul is to pound that ball and then play action pass off of that. If they can do that tonight, I see Christian Brothers pulling off the victory tonight.
Well, Glenn, I think that's about all I've got for you. Brett, do you have anything else for Coach? That was the next game I had, and you beat me to it.
That just about covers it. Glenn, good luck to y'all tonight. Everybody stay safe. Seriously, come see me tomorrow in the Grove, Glenn.
Appreciate it, man. And I'll be in the Grove with Big Marcus Henderson and a couple of our guys. And just excited to see some football. And
I think they can come by, but I don't know if I can give them. I don't know if I can even give them a glass of water. It might be with us in the NCAA right now. I'm kind of scared, so I may just be able to wave at y'all coming back.
But I tell you, I'm excited because watching the Cal team practice today, it was really fun to see. You don't really see Cal a bunch, but seeing these West Coast teams come in and they got great athletes. They got a linebacker that's Peter Sermon, the linebacker coach for Cal. Yeah, that linebacker I saw today. Well, he's a good looking kid.
Peter Sermon could play some football. Glenn, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Go
tonight.
Tigers, go.
Thanks, Glenn. Hopefully I'll run into you down there at the Grove myself tomorrow. I'll be down there. Hopefully we'll see you guys. Going to look forward to seeing Brett as well. Go Tigers. Good luck to you, Glenn, and good luck to MUS tonight. We'll be back in a minute. We'll talk a little NFL on the other side as we wrap up hour number 2 of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. Austin Eldridge filling in for Wolo today on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over 1/3 of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
Eli Savoy here for my friends over at the Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Here to let you know it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the new arrivals from TaylorMade. Introducing the new P790 irons and the new milled grind 2 wedges. The P790 irons feature speed foam technology and redesigned tungsten weighting for optimum feel and distance. And the new milled grind 2 wedges designed for increased spin and precision with raw face technology. Let them help you find the right set and get your free custom fitting today. Just a few of the exciting new fall releases you will find now at the Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit Edwin Watts Golf Shop and check out new P790 irons and the new milled grind 2 wedges. The Edwin Watts Golf Shop on the corner of Poplar and Perkins Extended. We'll see you there. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
Family Leisure has the world's biggest spa sale going on now. Over 50 spas in stock and ready to sell. $8,000 spas now just $44.99. 4-person spas starting at $24.99. Swim spas from $89.99. Huge discounts on all spas. Get the lowest prices of the year with special financing available. It's the world's biggest spa sale happening now at Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Come
to Holly Chevrolet in Marion and get end of summer deals. Right now, save over $8,500 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star. All 2018s must go. Get a 2018 Malibu for as low as $22,995. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no badgers and never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at Exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. HollyChevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star stock number N3558. 2018 Chevy Malibu stock number N3377. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify finance with GM Financial and have a 99 or newer GM product. Prices do not include tax, tags, title, or registration. Take delivery by 9/30/19. See dealer for details.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brad Oxley.
Dave will be back with us on Monday. I'm in Oxford, Austin Eldridge in our Family Leisure Studios, and I know people are starting to make plans to start thinking about to go out for dinner tonight, or again for game watching all weekend, and the place to do that. Look, if you're part of the Notre Dame Booster Club in Memphis, and there's a healthy number of Domers in Memphis, if you want to have a perfect game watching place, do it at the new Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy. There's the original commissary in Germantown, but the big screen TVs and the patios at the Collierville Commissary now at Houston Levy. Look, at the commissary, you know what you're getting. You're getting Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, delicious and authentic Memphis-style great food. Last night, I know Walker Taylor's grinding on the Cardinal game right now as they're trying to set a world record for runners left on base.
Left three more in the
18 total. Is that right?
Yeah, 18 total. They've got one on now. Dexter Fowler's at second base in the top of the ninth, still a 2-1 game.
Last night, Walker and I were talking each other off the ledge during the game. Begin your barbecue feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate at the commissaries, or the tamales, or the barbecue nachos. Whether it's the Collierville Commissary or the original in Germantown, dig into the ribs, the barbecue shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. It comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can even order it by the pound, or a 6-pack, or an 8-pack, or a 12-pack. We give away 6-packs of barbecue all the time on this show from the Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, or the barbecue shrimp, the wonderful hot tamales, all the great food at the commissary. The best lemon icebox pie I've ever had in my life. Terrific banana pudding. 754-5540, 754-5540. Online at commissarybarbecue.com. In Collierville and Germantown, the great party areas, orders to go, the catering, tailgating, and it's never too early. It's always this time of year to start thinking about the holidays and putting in your order for the 36-hour holiday bird. The Germantown and Collierville Commissary, Walker Taylor, he has done it the right way. The Cardinals, again, all these base runners, they come up short today. This gives the Cubs the momentum for the rest of this series, Austin.
It certainly does. I mean, that you cannot leave 18 runners on base in a game and expect to win normally. I mean, they have the 2-1 lead right now thanks to some clutch hitting by Yadier Molina earlier in the game. They've got their 19th base runner on right now, or their 19th possible stranded base runner, I should say. Dexter Fowler standing on second base right now with Paul Goldschmidt at the plate. 2-1 game in the top of the ninth, and it comes down to this again, Brett, and the Cardinals fans, you got to think, are not going to be too comfortable if this is a one-run lead going to the bottom half.
Because we know who's coming in, don't we?
Well, let's hope not.
I feel the same way.
I mean, Goldschmidt just walked. Now there's 2 on. So, I mean,
Martinez scares me to death. Even when
he has no control.
No, when he has an uncanny ability to get in a lot of trouble, and most of the time get out of it. Last night, I felt like uncorking a wild pitch was coming at any second, and I'm surprised on the number that was hit back. Who hit it for the Cubs? Was it Contreras?
Yes, I believe so.
I mean, it was a swinging bunt. I felt like for sure when he was going to that ball, I said, "Here it comes! It's going to the backstop." But he didn't, and luckily hit the back of the sliding runner, and Yadier Molina was able to pounce on it. The Cardinals with Matt Carpenter, lucky as all get out to win. Do you know what the emotional confidence, just the feel of what Wrigleyville would have been like last night and into today if they get that win with Rizzo back? I mean, they have the momentum the rest of the way. That's how fragile momentum and confidence really can be in sport.
Well, and this is a serious playoff implication, division implication series.
Playoffs started.
To blow a 3-run lead in that situation when you've already got one out in the top of the ninth, that would have given the Cubs all they needed. I mean, the crowd would have been all over it. The Cubs would have felt all the momentum we saw in 2016 when they won the World Series. All they needed was a little bit of momentum to go all the way, and it would have been very, very deja vu-y, so to speak, had that happened last night.
In 2016, I thought the Cubs were the best team out there all year and really deserved to win it. In 16, 17, and 18, the best teams have ended up winning, with Cubs in 16, Astros in 17, and the Red Sox were from start to finish last year. But if the Cubs had let that one get away in 16, they would. And I don't believe in curses and all that stuff. It's more fun, the lore and the talk of it, the histrionics of it. But if they had coughed up that series and in that Game 7 after the Rajai Davis home run, they would be convinced of being cursed. It would be Bartman, goats, cats, and every animal that got on Noah's Ark.
Well, and it turned out to be the opposite way because the Indians had a 3-1 lead in that World Series. They blew it. It's now been, 20, 30-something odd years since they've won. I mean,
1948.
Oh, I should say since they. Yeah, that's right. They were close in the 90s, I think, but they didn't actually win one.
This is how long ago Cleveland won it. They won it in 48 with a player manager. Try explaining that to a millennial, what a player manager was. And I think the team they defeated in 48, check me on this, Drew, with the Google machine, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think they defeated the Boston Braves.
The old Boston Braves, the legendary Major League Baseball establishment that it is.
That's how long ago it's been since Cleveland won it. And, if Terry Francona doesn't get in the World Series this year, or doesn't get in the playoffs this year, boy, they left one out there in 2016.
Yeah, they sure did. And I don't think Terry Francona has done a terrible job.
I think he's done a great job.
Cleveland. I think he's done a great job. It's very when you're competing in the same league as the Astros and the Yankees and the Red Sox, it's difficult. It's really difficult to win a World Series or to get to a World Series, much less win one. And that year, unfortunately for Cleveland, they came up against the wrecking ball that was the 2016 Chicago Cubs, and they just ran right into them.
The Cubs aren't that good this year, but you get into that tournament, you never know what kind of luck and good fortune and the dynamic that will be. 2 hours in the books. We start the third and final hour. We will visit with our friend from down New Orleans way at WWL, Mike Detillier, on all things college and pro football. At 5:30, we'll have our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast, and we'll wrap it up with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Austin Eldridge in our Family Leisure Studios with Drew Barrett. I'm Brett Norsworthy in Oxford. You're listening to Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work, and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Your trusted source for pool supplies and end-of-season pool closings is Mario's Pool Supplies in Germantown, Tennessee. As the pool season crawls to an end, let Mario close your pool for the winter and secure it with a new safety cover to protect your children and pets over the winter. The 2019 People's Choice Award winner for pool supplies and service, Mario's Pool Supplies, 1986 Exeter Road in Germantown, Tennessee, is your one-stop shop for everything pools. Call 901-552-3399 or stop in and talk to Mario today.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. If you're in need of a roof, there's no better place to start than Five Ash Roofing. No matter what your situation is, we have you covered. We can walk you through the insurance process without committing fraud like many of my competitors. You'd be surprised how many times salesmen and contractors will manufacture storm damage just so they can get a sale. We do residential, multifamily, and commercial work. We're certified in every form of roofing we offer. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingle, and we don't charge extra for that. And to my knowledge, there's no other roofing company in Memphis offering that level of security. And if that's not enough, we offer a best price guarantee. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Dave back with us on Monday. Austin Eldridge in with us again this Friday. Did a great job last Friday with us and again today. And appreciate Austin so much. We're going to close strong with this final hour. We do it with our friend Mike Detillier from WWL down in New Orleans. Talk about Tulane's big win last night. Talk LSU, to talk the Saints. Saints without Drew Brees, the Hall of Famer for sure that he will be. We visit with Mike in a second after I tell you about DeSoto Auto Sales. They sponsor this hour, and they specialize in late model cars with low mileage. They have the very high standards in the car industry at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road down in DeSoto County. 662-890-7184. All the cars are test driven, checked out, head to toe at DeSoto Auto Sales, literally bumper to bumper with an unlimited inventory. Every make, every model, and if by chance they don't have it, if it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, down-home environment. laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales whatsoever. They do care about your time, and with that, they guarantee the ultimate car experience. They know we're living in a world today that time really matters, so they're going to have you come down, you find the car you want, deal with the sales rep you want to deal with, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork done, you're gone in less than an hour. That's their guarantee to you. It's that simple. Visit them online at DeSotoAutosales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Mike
Brett,
Detillier, I'm sorry.
I got some bad news for you real quick before we bring on Mike. Andrew Miller got the first out of the bottom of the ninth, and now they're bringing in Martinez.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
I'm going to leave the rest of this segment to you and Mike as I go get any beads together I can come up with, any type of hex I can put on the big bad cubbies. Tony La Russa always said the 25th, 26th, and 27th outs are the toughest to get, and Carlos Martinez is going to prove 26 and 27 being difficult. Let's talk some football and try to keep our mind off that baseball game, Austin. Mike Detillier joins us now from New Orleans at WWL. And, Mike, the whole football world is really sad over the loss for Drew Brees. It sounds like 4 to 6 weeks. Do you think that is the correct timetable, Mike?
Yeah. In fact, I work as a spokesperson for Thibodeau Regional Medical Center, and we have Ortho LA, which is one of the top orthopedic people here in Louisiana, and Dr. David Elias came on with us Monday and basically made the call. It would be a 6 to 8 week injury repair. Like he said, it doesn't matter if you're 15, 25, 55, 95. It takes that long to repair. It doesn't matter if you're in shape, out of shape. It's part of rehabbing and getting yourself back into getting that thumb back into working correctly. He told me within a week you would be able to throw what he described as a rubber ball. They'll let you throw a rubber ball around. He said in 2 weeks they'll let you throw a football, but you can't grip it. But you can take it and pitch it a little bit, just sort of get your hand back in motion. And he feels as though when in a 3 week time frame or 3.5 week time frame, he'd be able to start gripping and throwing. But he said, it does take a little while for everything to heal properly, also get the strength back, and also for Drew to get sort of the touch. When they mess with your thumb, and that's your grip finger, it does take a little while to come back. So the 6 week time frame seems just about what everyone has told us that has done this type surgery.
Well, Mike, it's great to talk to you again. It's been a little while, so I've had the pleasure of talking to you. So glad you could join us this afternoon for the show. And with Drew Brees out, of course, the question in New Orleans mostly is the quarterback battle between Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill. Sean Payton saying this week that they are preparing for two quarterbacks, and we know that the Saints do use two quarterbacks more often than most. How do you see this game playing out right now? Teddy didn't look necessarily great in his first appearance this year, but then again, it was his first appearance. So where do you see it going right now if you had to take a guess?
Well, it's no battle. It's Teddy's ball game, so to speak. But I do think they're going to do this by committee. A lot of people don't like to hear this, but it's the truth. In any format, any setting, any business, there are people that are a cut above, amongst others. And it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And one person can't replace them. That's why you got two. And that's what the Saints are going to try to do. It's short term in a 6 week time frame, but it's to try to get the best attributes of Bridgewater and Hill and try to piece that together to survive this and get some wins along the way. Now, the next 2 weeks are rough. Seattle, over there, the Saints haven't won there since 2007. They did beat Seattle in the Dome 2 years ago, but Pete Carroll's home record in playing in Seattle since 2010 is 15-0 in September. That's pretty doggone good.
Yeah, that would have been tough with Drew Brees, Mike.
That would have exactly. Yeah. That would have been listen. I wouldn't have picked them. I thought Seattle, for whatever reason, Pete has had Sean's number in games. I can't explain why. All those games have been fairly close. There was one rout, but most of those games have been fairly close. And for whatever reason, you don't match up well. I can't explain it. It's that way in sports. But it's going to be tough. And it gets Dallas, and they red hot right now. So, the next 2 weeks are going to be difficult. But then you have a stretch where you're playing Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Arizona. Come on. You got to win those games. And you play Chicago in the mix. So, if you go 3-3, I think for most Saints fans, you accept that because you hit the halfway mark 4-4, and ain't nobody running away with the NFC South.
Oh, I think they would love a 4-4 mark with Drew Brees out.
Yeah, exactly. So, you would get that particulars back, and then you make a run for it late. You might have to, play those games on the road if you make the playoffs, but so what? I mean, if you get there, you get there, and then who knows what happens. But it's going to be different without Drew, and he does make a huge difference. And it's the first time since 2006, sort of knock on wood, this football team has had to face a stretch with him not being in there. Mm-hmm. And so, you got to be innovative here. But they still have Michael Thomas, and they still have Kamara. And their offensive line is a good offensive line. Now, you couldn't tell by the way they got beat up last week. But, man, the Rams kicked the ever-loving stew out of them up front. But
they're really nasty up front, though.
Yeah, they are.
Man.
Aaron Donald is crazy.
Let me tell you. Man, I heard one of these national guys say he's not a dominant player. Skip Bayless. Now, I don't know. Maybe Skip got a bad TV or his eyes are getting bad. I'm not real sure. Or maybe a combination of both. My thing about it is, if you can't tell that guy's a dominant player, then you shouldn't be where you at.
You've never watched football.
Come on. I think, some of that is just to poke the bear, to get a response. Yeah. Because I think some of that is what it's put up to today. But Aaron Donald played a little more than a half. He had a back injury. And back-to-back plays, he beat Andrus Peat one play, beat Larry Wolford the next, and he was talking trash to Eric McCoy on his way back. And he comes back in the game, and he was like Usain Bolt running past Will Clapp. Clapp hadn't even got out of his stance yet, and Donald was in the backfield. And, come on, you don't face those type guys often. And Greg Williams, God bless him, I've known Greg since he was here, and when he was also with the Titans. The Saints beat the Rams a couple years back. I'm doing TV after the game, and he passed by me, and he's hollering at me, "Hey, where's number 3?" Talking about Bobby. I said, "Man, listen, he needs the money bad. He's got to do post-game." He starts laughing. And he goes on and on about Drew Brees. He tell me, he said, "Mike, that guy, I got Aaron Donald. If I don't mess him up, he's going to the NFL Hall of Fame."
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's a big part of playing Seattle over there, the mystique of playing in that stadium where it's going to be loud. They have great home field advantage, and 15-0 in September since 2010 is just remarkable. So that was going to be tough even with Drew. I agree with you. So you got to find a way to win. You got to run the football. They couldn't do it against the Rams at all. Again, they got stuffed. And the receivers didn't help any either. Michael Thomas uncharacteristically had a drop. Jared Cook had 3, and one of them led to an interception.
So the sky is not falling with the Drew Brees injury. Kind of on the other end of that, at the college level, last night the quarterback for the Green Wave for Tulane, the quarterback play for the Green Wave, and the quarterback play at LSU. The college quarterback play gives a lot of people a lot of hope down your way with Tulane from the AAC and LSU on the road this week in SEC at Vandy.
I talked to Coach Fritz last week, and I told him it's the best defensive front I've seen at Tulane in a long time. And he told me, Mike, he said, maybe the best defensive front, talent and depth I've ever had as a coach. They actually can play some defense. Now, you couldn't have told that in the first half because Houston went up and down the field. But, they settled down and played well defensively in the second half. And, Justin make plays, and they got some players, Jalen McCleskey, J.J.'s son comes up with that huge play at the end of the game. Darnell Mooney is an NFL player at wide receiver. And Darius is a really he's a big Thunderback, and Dolphin's a speed guy. So they got some talent at Tulane this year. They're a talented football team, and Willie's doing real well. And I told him, in doing all these camps here, you would rarely hear a high school player talk about Tulane. Here, rare. It was rare. They would bring up Tulane in the mix. But this summer was changed. You started to hear Tulane in the mix, and partially that he's got to take advantage of what Coach O's doing in Baton Rouge. And he told me this in December. He said, Mike, we're going to be more of a national team. He said, we're going to recruit the best that we got in Louisiana, but we going to California. I think they've got 3 or 4 commitments from there. And he said, we headed to Washington, D.C. and Virginia. And I was like, baby, that's never happened at LSU. He's like, Mike, Mike, we never thought we lived this long either. So he said, you got to understand.
Especially how y'all acted when y'all were young, Mike.
So, we had a little curve in the road. So, and that has opened the door for teams like a Tulane, like a Mississippi State's heavily recruiting now in Louisiana, TCU, Texas A&M, they've been in here. No, Alabama, like Nick. Nick's like a good fisherman. He know how to throw that rod in the water. He know where the fish are in the pond.
He does.
So, I think that him going a little bit more national is going to open that door for Willie to. He's not going to get that 5 or 6, 7 guys that would have went to LSU, but he could get a couple more, and that's where you got to muscle in there. And what LSU's done with Joe Burrow. Joe Brady and I had a conversation. I did a couple of the LSU caravan tours, and he squatted down by me one time. He's like, Mike, a year ago, nobody knew who the hell I was. I look at him today. He's being talked about. He's like one of the hottest coaches in college football. And nobody, and I knew him because he was with the Saints. But he was like, nobody knew who I was. Now all of a sudden, it's blossomed. But you know what makes it work? Joe Burrow. And I give Coach O a lot of credit. This was 3 days into fall camp a year ago. I go watch him practice, and I was asking about Miles Brennan, and he said, Mike, I'm going to tell you something. He said, Joe Burrow is a player, and he's gonna put us back on the map. And I said, who you compare him to? He started to laugh. He said, listen, hold where you're at. But he said, he reminds me of a Bobby Hebert. And he said, listen, I played, he played with Bobby at South Lafourche, and he played with him at Northwestern. He said, Mike, one, he can't talk like him because there's only 2 or 3 people breathing on this earth that can do that. But he said, you look at his moxie, his ability to make all the NFL throws. He's accurate. He's tough. You don't think he's a great athlete until you watch him maneuver around the pocket. And he said, he's got one thing I can't teach. He's got toughness to stay in there and take a shot when somebody's barreling down at you. He said, you got a lot of guys, 7-on-7. Hey, give me the ball. I'll throw it. Ain't nobody coming out.
This looks easy.
But you got it with a rush. And he said, Mike, I'm telling you, he's got it. Now, that was 3 days into fall camp a year ago. He made that comment to me.
And he showed it in that UCF game. I mean, he needed a cut man in that bowl game.
And he's like a quiet assassin. He doesn't say much, but he exudes that confidence and his toughness. And he's got an edge to him. He's a coach's son, and his uncle played at Ole Miss. And, so, he understands this game so well. And, Louisiana, over the last 4 years, has produced 45 Division I players at wide receiver. So my thing is, man, if I'm catching that much fish in the pond, I'm going 3, 4 wide receivers. If I got that kind of talent in this state, I got to go after that. And I do think it's a part of what you're seeing today in that change in the offense, the quick pace, keep teams a little bit off balance, try to wear you out. And, it's something Ed talked about, and until I saw it in the spring when they were practicing it, I was like, man, this is pretty impressive. But really the collaboration between Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady has been great. Dave Mutt and Jeff, Steve's in his 60s. Joe ain't 30 years old. But how well they get along is just remarkable, and how they're able to piece together this game plan. But, guys, I'm just telling you, It runs so well because of Joe Burrow. He's legit.
And Mike, back to Tulane for a second. I wanted to ask you about them when we got on that conversation. Willie Fritz, as you mentioned, doing a great job and a great turnaround for them last night to come back and beat Houston, who's off to a little bit of a rough start in Dana Holgerson's first year. Where is Tulane, do you think, in the AAC? You've got UCF, who appears to be the class of that conference right now.
I agree.
Memphis right there as well, playing well every year under Mike Norvell. But Tulane looking like they're trying to get it going a little bit, maybe compete to be up there, maybe give those teams a run. Where do you see Tulane in the mix of that conference right now?
I told Willie he's in the show position. Win, play, show. Mm-hmm. He's in there. You could actually win money. And he just started to laugh. He got it real quick. He said, I get it, Mike. I understand what you're talking about. But I think what keeps them here, that they've always had a pretty good offense. They've always been able to score, but now defensively, to have the talent that they have up front, that front seven, that's unusual at Tulane. And they got a signature play in Patrick Johnson. I'm just telling you, guys, he can come off the edge. He got a motor and a half on him, and he's relentless coming off there. So he's part of that group. And they two platoons, so you have some depth there that he's built, and he's bringing in guys there. So I would think certainly what you had said is absolutely correct. Right now they're in the 3 spot in that conference, but Willie's done a fantastic job coaching. Also bringing in Will Hall as his offensive coordinator. He needed to change offensively, just like what Coach O did. He needed to change too. And I live next to a guy, Joe Clark. He coached 50 years in the NFL and major college football. And he always told me the best coaches in the world are the guys that can adapt to change.
For sure.
He said, the hard-headed ones, and he pointed that finger toward that guy in Kansas. He said, Mike, he's hard-headed to the bone, and that ain't never going to change with him. But he said, if you can change and adapt, then you have a chance here. And he said, the real good ones do. He said, look what Belichick has done throughout the years. Look what Bill Walsh did in San Francisco, being able to change.
What Coach Saban has done.
Look what Nick has done with this spread offense. You wouldn't have never thought that they'd thrown the football all over the place like he's been able to do. And, it is part of being a great coach. You can have a scheme, and scheme can get you to a certain point, but you have to adapt. And I do think that's been a big part of Tulane's turnaround on offense this year. And also, too, they got a little bit lucky. Justin felt as though he didn't fit at LSU. And I thought he was the better of the quarterbacks there. Miles wasn't quite ready. Lowell Narcisse was inconsistent throwing the football. And Justin did a nice job. But, you didn't bring Joe Burrow over here to drink Gatorade and to watch with a cap on his head. Even he understood that. He was going to be the starter. And for him to go to Tulane, I think was a big step for Willie. And I told this to Coach O. When it's all said and done, Joe Burrow needed a place to be a starter and to showcase the fact he's an NFL starting quarterback one day. But Joe Burrow coming to LSU saved Ed Orgeron's job.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Ed survives if he didn't have Joe last year running that offense. And so, they both helped one another get to where they had to be. And I think I look at Tulane, Willie had some issues at the quarterback position, and Justin came in, and he was able to get you to a bowl game. And now he's part of a very talented Tulane team, maybe the best I've seen in the last 10 years at Tulane. So he helped Willie out. He helped Fritz out tremendously.
It all goes hand in hand. Mike, enjoy this football weekend. It started big for y'all last night at Ullman. It will continue into the weekend, and we love having you, and we want to catch up with you again. Have a great weekend, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Anytime, guys. Y'all take care. My pleasure.
You got it. Mike Detillier from WWL, just a wealth of information.
He's so good. I love Mike.
He knows that area, and he's got relationships. Everybody, I meant to tell him, be sure and tell Deuce we said hello. I want to tell you about Williams Equipment Supply. They're your homegrown, locally owned #1 in compact construction equipment dealer in the Mid-South. They've represented the Bobcat Company for 50 years. Bobcat Company is the industry leader in compact loaders and excavators. Williams Equipment, they're locally owned, and they have the largest compact equipment dealership in the Mid-South with 9 great locations, one very close to you. They have the largest inventory of equipment, attachments, and parts, the largest compact rental fleet, the best technicians, and the most locations. And with Bobcat's leading technology, backed up by Williams Equipment staff of parts and service techs, contractors get their work done efficiently and profitably. For a demonstration or more details, call Cody Bumpus, your North Mississippi Bobcat specialist. Cody's cell, you can call him right now at 901-508-8739. In Memphis, the Memphis area Bobcat specialist is Sam Watson. Sam's cell is 901-326-6429. Williams Equipment Supply, your homegrown, locally owned, and #1 in compact construction equipment company in the Mid-South, and we appreciate them being with us, and especially on Fridays when we can talk college football and pro football, brought to you by Williams Equipment Supply. Austin Eldridge in our Family Leisure studio. When we come back, we'll have our Friday football focus from First National Bank and Trust. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Austin and Drew on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
There's a new commissary in town. In Collierville, Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary. The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit our Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Starting this week, get 3 juicy snow crabs, 17 shrimps, 2 whole sausages, 2 corn, 2 eggs, and a large side of potatoes for only $43.99. That's right, $43.99. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab Kings is #1. Make the right choice the first time. Make it Crab Kings. Come and devour our tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, and catfish. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pastas with your choice of toppings. Visit our Bartlett Cordova locations at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab Kings is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, Google Crab Kings Memphis or download the app Crab Kings, a Memphis original.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone need to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Time for the Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Nick Sutton, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763 or fnbtmemphis.com. That's fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account and been a friend my entire life.
And our first game to pick will be Tennessee and Florida, bright and early tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock in the Swamp. It used to be the game of the year in the 90s for the month of September. It's lost a lot of that. Gators and Vols met as ranked teams 18 consecutive times from 1990 to 2007. Since going to divisions in 1992, the winner of the Tennessee-Florida game has gone on to win the SEC East 13 of a possible 27 times. Tennessee's last win in the Swamp, 34-32 in 2001. The last one before 2001, 1971. 48 years, 2 wins. These two teams met in the 1969 Gator Bowl. That had never happened again. Florida was 14-13 winners in that game that was Doug Dickey's last game at Tennessee before he was accepting the job at his alma mater at Florida. Those times have changed. I take Florida to win big, 35-14. Dave takes Florida, laying the points pretty big as well. Austin, your pick?
This is going to be so stupid. This game is always so wacky. Drew is telling me don't do it as I speak. Tennessee covers. Somehow they don't win. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Give me the wild, wacky, stupid pick. Tennessee finds a way to cover. It's not going to happen. People don't take that money to the bank.
Couldn't that start crazy Saturday if Tennessee were to win this game? After
I didn't say they were going to win.
I know you didn't, but after everybody has piled on Tennessee, they start that early tomorrow morning.
Drew is giving me a bad look right now, Brett.
That could launch crazy Saturday. So I take it, Drew, you're going to the safe play with Gators.
I definitely am. Tennessee might have beat Chattanooga 45-0 last week, but that's again it's UT Chat.
I'm picking for the whack.
I'm taking Florida 45-0. Tennessee gets blown out.
45-0.
All right, I'll give them 7 points. 45-7. Not even close.
45-7. Drew makes the call for the Gators over Tennessee. So 3 out of 4 of us taking the Gators. Next game, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning in the Grove. Airtime for us right here on the Flynn family of stations on Sports 56 and 87.7 and 96.1. We come on the air from the Grove at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock kick. Cal at Ole Miss. Ole Miss hadn't lost a non-conference home game in 7 years. Justin Wilcox, the Cal head coach, he hadn't lost a regular season non-conference game in his 2+ almost into his 3rd year at Cal Berkeley. In third straight year, Cal has started 3-0 in the regular season. Cal wide receiver Jordan Duncan from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Cal defensive end Luke Beckett from Little Rock, Arkansas. Cal is 10-11-1 all times against teams currently in the SEC. Drew, your pick.
This one, the line is close for a reason. I think it could ultimately be a pick 'em. I originally picked Ole Miss to win this game against California in the preseason after we did lightly shaded pencil, but I got to go with the Cal Bears. They're ranked. They're a top 25 team for a reason. This could come down to a last-minute field goal. I think Cal wins, but just barely. I mean, maybe by 1-2 points at the most.
It's funny how the preseason picks, Dave picked Ole Miss in the preseason to win this game. You picked Ole Miss in the preseason to win this game. Game week, you take Cal. Game week, Dave takes Cal. In the preseason, I had Ole Miss 3-1 after 4 games, winning on opening day that they lost to the Tigers. But I had them in a loss in this spot to be 3-1 after 4. But on game day or on game weekend, I'm going to take the Rebels, lay the 2.5, get there by half. Ole Miss 20-17 over Cal. Austin, your pick.
Yeah, this is going to be a very low-scoring game. Take the under, people. Take the under. But I'm going to be there, and I'm going on the hope they're not going to let me down. It's going to be a slugfest. Cal comes in with a really good defense, but their offense is ranked 121st in the country. Ole Miss has not scored a lot of points yet, but their defense has also been good. If Scotty Phillips and Jerry and Ely can get going a little bit, I think they do have a chance to pull it out. It's going to be a close one, though. I'm taking the Rebels 17-14 in a defensive battle.
Just in case I need to change my pick, what's your personal record in Oxford when you're there?
Well, it was
because if you're a good luck charm, I need to know.
No, it was bad until the last 2 years. I think I've hit 500 now. Because
okay, I'll keep my pick.
The problem is I always pick the bad ones that like Alabama, which are not good games to go to if I want to see a win.
Yeah, so that doesn't help the record.
That doesn't help the record much.
There's not anybody. Well, I guess if you just went to the 2014 game, there's not many people out there holding the all-time attendance for the Alabama game with a winning record in the Ole Miss world. 2:30 tomorrow. UCF at Pitt. Pitt's already lost 2 defensive line starters for the year. UCF and Michigan, the only schools in the nation in 2018, 2019 to have football in a New Year's Six bowl game, and both men and women's teams in the NCAA basketball tournaments. Dylan Gabriel, another Hawaii quarterback for UCF. They had Mackenzie Milton. Of course, Ole Miss had Jordan Tiamu, and Alabama has Tua Tagovailoa. So they keep the 50th state thing going with Dylan Gabriel. 11.5-point favorites for Central Florida on the road at Pitt. I'm taking Pitt to cover, but UCF to win 28-17. I get there by a half-point. Pitt covers. Dave takes Pitt as well. Kind of the same dynamic. He thinks UCF will win, but Pitt covers. Austin?
Boy, and I originally wanted to take Pitt to cover as well, but UCF just hasn't really shown me a reason not to take them at this point. I know they haven't played anybody good yet. Stanford is not good this year. But right now, I just don't have enough faith to not pick against UCF. They played so well. I'm taking UCF to cover and win the game. I'm going to take UCF 38-20.
Drew?
I'm with Austin. I'm going to take Central Florida. They've given me no reason not to pick them. I know Pitt kept it real close with 13th-ranked Penn State last week, only losing by a touchdown. But Central Florida's offense is just way too high-powered. They keep the 30-plus point streak going. They win 35-21.
35-21, Drew calls the win for Central Florida. 2:30 CBS game. Texas A&M, a 4.5-point favorite over Auburn down in College Station. Auburn 21-5 in the last 26 SEC openers. Auburn in 83 games as Gus is head coach. They've had 100-yard rushers in 53 of those. 25 of 49 on third down this year. That's second in the SEC, 22nd nationally for Auburn. They love to run the ball, and I think tomorrow in College Station will look like an old school game. A&M 5-4 lead in this series, including a Cotton Bowl win over Bo Jackson in his Heisman Trophy year. Jimbo Fisher was quarterbacks coach at Auburn for Patrick Nix when he played, now playing against his son, Bo Nix, the starting quarterback for Auburn. I have Auburn winning the game. I don't need the point. Straight up, Auburn wins 20-16. Dave has Texas A&M laying the 4.5 and winning the game. Drew, your pick.
It came down to Bruce Marshall for me, and if Bruce Marshall says go to Auburn Tigers, I'm taking Auburn. War Eagle.
Austin?
Yeah, I had Auburn before Bruce, and Bruce confirmed my theory on that. I think it is going to be, like you said, Brett, an old-fashioned style game. It's going to come down to the trenches, both of these teams with some good lines. But I think Auburn, even on the road, they're going to find a way to pull it out. It's going to be close. I'm going to take Auburn to win the game, but they're not going to cover the 4.5, which I don't think that matters because A&M was favored. So it's going to be 24-21 Auburn.
Tomorrow night, the big one on CBS Game Day there and all the coverage that'll go with it. Notre Dame in town, and how many times have we said it this week? It's Notre Dame. Notre Dame in Athens. They've just played twice ever. Georgia winning both. Herschel's freshman year for the national championship in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. 2 years ago in South Bend, the 1-point win for Georgia. 899 all-time wins for Notre Dame. Wouldn't number 900 be something to get it between the hedges? Brian Kelly in his 10th year at Notre Dame, just the 5th Notre Dame coach to spend a decade or more at Notre Dame. Rockney spent 13 years there. Frank Lay, Eric Parsegian, and Lou Holtz all 11 years there for those three. And that's some list of coaches that Brian Kelly's already joined at Notre Dame. I'm taking Georgia to win the game, not in a massacre, 31-13. They get over the point spread of 14.5. They win by 18. Dave takes Georgia as well. Drew?
I'm taking Georgia, and if they actually do cover the 14.5, I think it's not a good game. I just think Georgia's going to run the ball straight down Notre Dame's throat all day. They're not going to be able to stack the box enough, and it's going to be a disappointing game for anybody unless you're a Georgia fan, because this game does bring so much hype, but if Georgia covers, it didn't really live up to it.
Austin?
Yeah, Georgia, I said this when Bruce was on. Bruce disagreed with me, but as far as taking Georgia to cover, but Georgia to me has looked like the best team in the country. Now I know they haven't played anybody really good yet either, but they have just manhandled the teams they have played. Arkansas State, not typically a slouch, and they made them look really bad. And Vanderbilt, of course, I mean, it was just home away from home for Georgia up there at Vanderbilt Stadium. I think Vanderbilt is going, or Vanderbilt, sorry, I think Georgia is going to win this game and cover the spread. They're just way too good, in my opinion. Notre Dame just hasn't been consistent enough for me. I think they're more of a pretender, not a contender. I'm taking Georgia to win, and I take them to cover the spread as well, 45-28 Georgia.
That's a group lock last week. 0-2 in group locks on the season, 1-3. So people out there wanting a trend go against us when it's group lock time. College football locks and shocks. Dave takes Wisconsin, laying the 3.5 over Michigan as his lock. He takes Northwestern. The Wildcats, Bruce Marshall, love that game as well. Dave takes Northwestern plus 9.5 over Michigan State. I'm going to lay the 39.5 and take Bama, and it will help me on our summertime wager as well. Drew, Bama wins 45-0, laying the 39.5, and my shock will be staying in the SEC. Kentucky getting the 7.5 points tomorrow down in Starkville. Kentucky winning outright 21-20. Locks and shocks, Austin.
My lock of the week, speaking of Vanderbilt, LSU minus the 24 against Vanderbilt. LSU, as much as I hate to say it, because I don't like LSU, but they look really good. I'm taking LSU to just annihilate Vanderbilt tomorrow, easily winning by more than 24 points. And then my shock of the week, I didn't learn my lesson from last week. I picked Indiana plus 17.5 at Ohio State. That did not go well. Central Michigan plus the 29.5 at Miami.
Plus 29.5. I wrote it down wrong.
Not a win, a cover.
29.5. That matters. Drew, your lock and shock. College.
My lock, I think, would probably be one of the easiest Big 12 victories for Texas this year. I'm taking Texas big. I think they win by about 14-20. Good news is they're only going to win by 6.5 over Oklahoma State. And my college football shock it's kind of an anti-Drew pick. It's somebody who bleeds blue and gray and who always kind of considered himself somewhat of a Florida State fan. But I'm going to take Louisville plus 6.5 at Florida State. because ultimately Florida State couldn't beat us 3 by 7 points. They can't beat even if they win, there's no way they win by 7.
Man, I just can't believe a proud graduate of the University of Memphis just took U of L.
I know.
You'll do anything to win, won't you?
I will. I really will. And especially after that 1-9 week last week where, in my defense,
brought it up.
I was already on Gulf Coast time, so I just scribbled some things down. But after that, I'm coming to win.
All right, NFL, Philadelphia laying the 6.5 over Detroit. They've been playing since 1934, but oddly enough, been playing that long, but have only met 33 times in that span. 16-15-2, Philly leads the Lions with a 2-game winning streak over Philly, and the Lions are undefeated. They do have that tie, but they are 1-0-1. Dave takes Philly in this game, laying the 6.5. I take Detroit plus the points with Philly winning the game 23-21, but I'll take Detroit plus the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Philly as well. I just don't know if Detroit is really that good. I'm gonna take Philly.
Drew?
I'm going to take Philly as well. I think they turn it around after that heartbreaking loss on Sunday Night Football last week at Atlanta. Being at home, they get it easy. 10-plus points probably.
NFL locks and shocks. Dave takes the Rams laying the 3.5 over Cleveland. Jared Goff against Baker Mayfield. And he has Atlanta plus 1.5 over Indy. We share the NFL shock. We share the underdog pick. I have Atlanta as well. We won week 1, both sharing the Titans. But my lock is Dallas laying the 21.5, Austin.
We share
over Miami. We share it. Who's your shock?
My lock is the Dallas. My shock is Oakland plus the 9 versus Minnesota.
Drew?
Nothing against our last guest, and Mike Detillier thinks it's New Orleans. The sky's not falling, but I think it is. Seattle, that atmosphere, they're going to win easily. Only got to win by 4.5. And my shock is probably the stupidest shock I've ever done, but for some reason it just spoke to me. I'm going to take the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals plus 6.5 against the 2-0 Buffalo Bills. It makes no sense, but
the
I like
New York team, according to Josh Allen.
That's why they call it wagering. We love our Friday football forecast brought to you every Friday by First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas for real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreation. Contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763. The Cardinals, last night and this afternoon, about as lucky as you can be, fortunate as you can be to hang on to those wins. They win by 1 last night. They've been win by 1 today. 2-1 Cardinals, now magic number 6 over the Brewers, 4 over the Cubs. And the Cubs trying to salvage a split in this series. The Cardinals, that's all they wanted. Anything from here is a little bit house money against the Cubs.
Yeah, and you got the win with Waka on the mound today, too, which is really good.
But, Austin, the Brewers are still hanging around out there. The Brewers could still steal this division. It feels like the Cardinals are going to punch some ticket, but maybe not as the NL Central winner.
Yeah, and the Brewers are clicking right now. Even without Christian Yelich, they are playing really good baseball. They are not out of it yet, and they have a very easy schedule compared to the Cardinals and Cubs for the rest of the year. So it's going to be tough to keep them away, so you're going to have to win if you're St. Louis to make sure they don't sneak in and take that division.
One segment left on this Friday afternoon. When we come back, we wrap it up like we do every day with Taco Bell Crunch Time. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Austin and Drew on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Family Leisure has the world's biggest spa sale going on now. Over 50 spas in stock and ready to sell. $8,000 spas now just $44.99. 4-person spas starting at $24.99. Swim spas from $89.99. Huge discounts on all spas. Get the lowest prices of the year with special financing available. It's the world's biggest spa sale happening now at Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops this year with the new 2019 Fall Arrivals. Introducing the strikingly new T-Series irons from Titleist, featuring the T100 iron designed as a player's iron, the T200 iron, a player's distance iron, and the T300 iron, the complete game improvement iron. All pure Titleist. Let us help you find the right set and get custom fit today. Just a few of the new releases you'll find at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home with a 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
Stop. Pick up your golf clubs. Head to my favorite place, Vantage Point Golf Center, 9580 Macon Road in Cordova. Open 7 days a week. Vantage Point Golf Center. They got it all. Top Tracer powered by Top Golf. Track your shots like the pros. You know exactly where you hit the ball. Have a beer, eat a sandwich, and relax. Over 50 grass spots and fully lit for nighttime. There are 18 holes of mini golf. It's fun for the whole family. Visit Vantage Point Golf Center. They've got it all. 1 mile west of Houston Levee.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
Crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He'd throw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. I learned today, and really into last night, maybe not a more celebrated NFL quarterback, maybe since Tim Tebow in season. It's Gardner Minshew mania, like Linsanity. We got Minsanity. And they signed Nick Foles to all that dough, and then the fastest, hottest selling jersey, and maybe in the NFL might be Gardner Minshew from the state of Mississippi sports. Man, you got to be nuts to love this stuff. But how about that night last night for the Jacksonville Jags? Yeah. I'm a Cowboys fan. Cowboys are my team, Drew.
Oh, good grief.
I thought you were about to say it. I was this close.
Not a chance. Not a chance. What'd you learn today, Austin?
I learned today that Kansas is the latest NCAA basketball school to receive a notice of allegations from the NCAA. Sure. So here we go again. No news yet whether or not Bill Self is going to be charged with control violation, which could lead to a year of suspension for him. So more scandal that probably won't happen. And nothing will probably happen from it.
Seriously, if you could write the predicted finish of this story, what do you think happens to Kansas?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because they make the NCAA a lot of money.
And you got to remember, about the only thing the NCAA really makes money off of is the men's basketball tournament.
Yep.
And it's a lot better to have Kansas for doing business than it is without them. I could have done without the Cardinal bullpen last night. It was a little less fractious today, but boy, Carlos Martinez, he's just too flaky for me. I think they're going to get in the playoffs. Do you really think they're going very far though, Austin?
No, I really don't think they are. I just don't think they have the bullpen to hang with the Braves, and then of course deal with the Dodgers, and yeah, it's going to be tough.
Also last night, could have done without the Marcus Mariota play. If you just look at the stat line you'd think, okay, good to go, but it's not. They got to get a lot more out of him. I think he has a little better weaponry around him. A.J. Brown needs to step it up a little bit. He's kind of off to a rookie start that is a little reminiscent of the start Laquan Treadwell got off to, and we know how that finished. Need A.J. Brown to get more like he was opening day than he has been the last 2 weeks. What is it you could have done without Austin?
I could have done without the anger directed at Bill Belichick and Ron Rivera. A lot of people in the media, especially, angry at them for ending their press conferences early because they didn't want to answer questions about off-the-field issues. They made it very clear at the beginning of their press conferences that they were going to talk about football, that they had no further comment on these issues, and that whatever the organization was going to say had already been said. And the questions continued to come about the issue they said they did not want to talk about. I see no issue with you saying, you know what, I told you what I was going to talk about. You don't want to talk about it, so I'm done. I could have done without the anger towards that. I think that's just fine.
I see no issue at all with them doing that, but also those questions have to be asked.
They have to be asked, but I don't have an issue with the coaches not wanting to answer them.
I don't either, but you might provoke them, maybe even in anger, and Riverboat Ron was plenty hot.
He was pretty
Belichick, he just kind of runs that naturally unhappy anyway, but Riverboat Ron, you might have elicited a real response. Ron Rivera, alma mater, Cal Berkeley, he was a good linebacker at Cal. What are you keeping a close eye on this weekend? There's so much to watch.
Well, of course, the rest of the Cardinals and Cubs series, the Brewers and Pirates going on. We have so many baseball races going on right now. Ole Miss and Cal tomorrow, a lot of college football. The A's, Rays, Twins, and Indians could all be postseason teams in the American League. A lot of new faces to go along with the Astros and Yankees. And, of course, it's the Cardinals, Brewers, Nationals, and Cubs all fighting on the National League side.
I mean so much, and I love it. Like as we were talking with Peter about when we really get into October and it feels like everything's going. It's almost a little bit of that this weekend. All the great high school action tonight in our area. Get out and support high school football. As John Varla says, still one of the best values out there. You get it's a lot better than, in my opinion, than going to the movies, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot of other things. All the college action tomorrow. We'll be analyzing the Tiger basketball schedule even more on Monday with Dave. Cards, Cubs continue. You mentioned the Rays at home against the Red Sox. Wild cards everywhere really in play this weekend. Tennessee and Florida tomorrow morning. Remember when that game really mattered. Michigan, Wisconsin, Ole Miss, Cal, Auburn at College Station. Can Oklahoma State upset Texas? And Drew's pick of his lock. The Domers between the hedges, Kentucky at State. Undefeated Mike Leach. He's more than just a good interview. He's a really darn good football coach. And does Gardner Minshew go back to Pullman this weekend as the conquering hero in the Palouse after what he's off to in the NFL? On Sunday in the NFL, Baltimore and Kansas City. The Daniel Jones debut, Rams and Browns. Yep. And how many quarterbacks? I hope zero. But how many big-name quarterbacks go down this week? Because a lot did last week.
Going to be a lot of flags thrown this
Plenty
week.
to watch this weekend, isn't it?
Sure is, and it's gonna be fun. I always love a good weekend, especially when it's full of football, and then if playoff races in baseball, you just cannot beat it. Well, that's about going to wrap it up for today and for this week. I am so happy I was able to be a part of the show today. Brett, thank you again so much for allowing me to be a part of your show and filling in for Dave. Drew, it's always a pleasure working with you, my man. It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the football this weekend, the baseball this weekend. Looking forward to being down in Oxford tomorrow. Brett, hopefully I'll get to come by and see you before the game. And
make sure you ask them, hey, you got a Notre Dame Georgia score on you yet?
There's one in every crowd, Drew.
There's always one of those people walking around. Well, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Ole Miss fans, be sure and show up and show out for the Rebels in Cal tomorrow. Memphis fans, you've got the week off, so have fun watching some football at home or wherever you may be tomorrow. For Brett, once again, thank you so much. For Dave, hope he's enjoying his day off. And for Drew, I'm Austin Eldridge saying thank you so much and have a great week. You've been listening to Sports Time on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week will be our family show as we have former Tigers Ray and Sam Kraft in studio with John and I as we look towards Navy and talk the family tradition of Tiger football.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $5,000, Sunrise discounts high as $8,000, and don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. There's always a